Doing the throw, for the end zone, touchdown, Parker. Pick off by Xavier Howard. Tagovailoa trying to make up for it, fires to the end zone, touchdown! That's hard work.
What's good, Finn Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason back here quicker than I anticipated because, of course, I'll be back here tomorrow night with some of my mods, and we'll be opening up to you guys at one point, and we'll be watching the national championship game together. Alabama, Ohio State, not going to want to miss that. Jalen Waddle is going to be returning, so Waddle, Smith. We can watch future New York Jet Justin Fields. Going to be a beautiful thing. All right, so as you guys have known, this Watson stuff has been, and I'm going to open it up to you guys because I want to hear what your guys' thoughts on this whole situation. I wonder if Ballgame's out there. I know me and Ballgame just texted and talked privately, like literally about 10 minutes ago about the situation. Hopefully Ballgame, I didn't ask him to come on, but hopefully you're watching Ballgame, and when I drop the link, you want to come on because, you know, I do agree with Ballgame, but I mean, I got to play devil's advocate to an extent here, right? I got to take subjectiveness out of it, and I got to look at it objectively for a sec. So, everyone, the news right now, obviously, is I'll bring up the report. We'll start it off right off the rip, so y'all already know what I'm talking about in case you haven't seen it. Let me pull that up right here. So, it's a thread that started off today, and it'll start off here. So, reports about Deshaun Watson's unhappiness with Houston Texans are accurate, and sources close to the QB say he is still angry about teams' insensitivity to social justice, including hiring practices, after the franchise failed to interview Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy this past week. Now, guys, I've given you info on Eric Bieniemy in terms of why he's not being hired. You know, Kafka, right? I've given you all the info on Kafka, and Dante helped that out too. So there's more. It's more about race with Bieniemy. It's about, is he actually qualified, right? So sources say Watson could play hardball with the Texans about a trade. His new $156 million contract includes a no-trade clause, but informed speculation from a source is that he would consider the Miami Dolphins, in which Tua Tagovailoa and additional compensation goes to Houston. Chris Mortensen also went on to say, let the denials begin, but it'll be an off-season story, a puzzle of sorts that promises some drama. All right. So there's a few things here. First of all, I want to shout out Marino's GOAT. He donated $10. He said, for the last 15, 20 years, nobody wanted to touch us with a 10-foot pole. Now we are finally almost back to where we need to be, and the whole world wants to throw us a curveball and confuse us. Marino's GOAT. Here's the thing. When your trajectory is upwards, you become a talking point by the media. Like, look at it. I guarantee you a lot of predictions, a lot of these people are going to be flipping their scripts, Watson or not, after free agency in the draft in terms of what they were predicting for us heading into this season, in terms of what they'll be predicting for us heading into next season. I think a lot of people, a lot of media pundits are going to probably label us as a legit playoff contender. So as quickly as the tide turns, so does the narratives, because guess what? When you are the underdog that's come up, you know, I know there's a thought that the media doesn't like us, the national media doesn't like the Miami Dolphins. But here's the thing. When you're the underdog and you're the flavor of the week, right? You're that new hot thing, you become the media darling. So I don't know. Shout out to everyone that's shown up so far. I appreciate all of you. Someone asked me on Twitter today. Someone said to me, Reason, what would you give up for Deshaun Watson? What's a fair trade to you? I want to talk about something first here in this. Okay, here's what doesn't make sense to me. Am I the only one who reads this and is like, okay, informed and speculation from a source is that he would consider the Miami Dolphins, in which Tua and additional compensation goes to Houston. I got a question. Why does Deshaun Watson give a good goddamn about the compensation that comes back to the Miami Dolphins? Why would he care? Why would Deshaun Watson care what the Houston Texans get back? He wants out. He don't care what happens there. So this is what I'm saying. This is where my eyebrows first raised with this report. I'm like, why would he care? Why would he tell people close to him, yeah, I'll take a trade if they want to trade me for Tua and a bunch of draft picks? Why would he say that? He would say, no, I'd go to Miami. He wouldn't get into detail of like, yo, I think Greer and Nick Castro should talk about, maybe me for Tua and some like who talks like that? So that was the first eyebrow raise for me. I was like, why is he talking about the compensation he gets back? I'm like, that was kind of weird. This seems like agent. This does not seem like Deshaun Watson. This seems like agent stuff. But here's the play. Now, here's the question, and I'll pose it to you guys when I open it up. What's the leverage point? The ink hasn't even dried on your new contract. What's the leverage play? Because I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. Or I said this 2 days ago or whatever. Nick Caserio, the new GM, right? The Patriots executive that was brought. Do you want to be remembered as the guy who traded Watson? Because if it doesn't work out, the trade, A, you will be remembered as the guy who traded Watson. B, you ain't going to last long in Houston. C, you probably kissed any future GM job goodbye, no matter whether the player handcuffed you or not. So that leads me back to this. They're either not going to trade him and try and work through it internally, or they're going to ask for a freaking king's ransom. And that's why I go back to the Benjamin Albright report, right? Guys, what was the report a couple of days ago? I keep showing you guys every single freaking day to remind you. Benjamin Albright, who y'all can pretty much you can put up there. He's one of the more reputable guys. He says the Texans aren't trading Watson, nor has it been discussed. And this is as of January 7th. I asked for a hypothetical offer that might move him last night. 3 firsts, 3 seconds, and a player. You're telling me I'm going to have to give the 3rd, the 18th, our first next year, right? Then I'm going to have to give you the 36th, the 50th, and I'm going to have to give you a second next year, plus Tua Tagovailoa. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Come on. They gotta and here's the thing, they won't come. Why would a brand new GM who is gonna be tied to that trade forever, you think he's gonna take one on the chin and just let a top 5 quarterback in the NFL walk out the door for on the cheap? Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen, because his name and his legacy will be tied to the trade. That's what I'm telling you. So we go back here for a sec. Let's go back to this proposal for a sec here. Reason. What's a fair offer to you? Okay. Gun to my head. Gun to my head. This is my fair offer. And this is as high as I'm going. I don't want to hear nothing. All right. And let me preface this with A, this makes me cringe even saying it. B, I don't want to trade Tua. All right. I don't. But it's a top 5 quarterback, a top 3 quarterback on the cusp of top 3. So, gun to my head. Here's a very reasonable where you have to actually put your love for Tua aside and say, damn, I'd probably do that. Tua Tagovailoa. All right. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. Oh, let me take a moment. That hurts. Y'all know. No one loves that kid more than me. All right. I literally got involved in YouTube last October to defend that kid. And some of my first words on YouTube was my own initial scouting report on the kid, man. All right. So continuing, man, I love that kid. Such a good person too. Anyways, Tua Tagovailoa, the number 3 pick and the number 36 pick. That's it. I'm not giving you 18. Don't talk to me about no 18. This is why. Obviously, there's a method to reason's madness. So, Tua, all right? James Summer says it's all talk so Miami can get more draft capital for the number 3 pick. I actually think the Dolphins are past stacking draft capital. I'll talk about that in a sec. So let me keep that up. Okay, so here's where we go. I ain't giving him the 18th. Y'all are crazy if I'm giving him the 18th. This is why. So you're giving me a proven, obviously, quarterback commodity in Deshaun Watson. Guys, I'm giving you Tua Tagovailoa, a number fresh off a number 5 pick who I don't want to part with as a GM anyways. All right. And he's got the ceiling of a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Right? So that's that. Number 36. Look at how number 3. Number 3, you can go get Penei Sewell. Buddy, I'm giving up Penei Sewell and Tua Tagovailoa. I'm not just giving up the number 3 pick. I'm giving up Penei Sewell. So now you're going to have Laramie Tunsil, Penei Sewell, and Tua Tagovailoa thanks to the Miami Dolphins. Okay? And then number 36. What can you do with number 36? You can get a nice running back, and we've already displayed how deep this draft is with receivers. So, I'm going to give you Tua Tagovailoa, Penei Sewell, and a receiver or a running back of your choice. That is a fair freaking deal. What, you want a third next year? Okay, I'll give you a third. But that's a fair deal. You're not touching another one of my firsts or seconds. That's a fair deal. Look at what I've... Tua Tagovailoa, Penei Sewell, and I don't know, let's say... Who do you want to say? Javonte Williams? What if Najee slips? What if Etienne slips? Rondell Moore. What if Kadarius Toney slips out of the back end of the first and Kadarius Toney's sitting there? I'm just saying. I'm giving you options. Terrace Marshall might be there. I'm just saying. You might even get a guy like Pat Freiermuth, the tight end, who I know a lot of y'all didn't see this year because, he didn't play, but he's fantastic block, way better blocker than Kyle Pitts, dominant in the red zone in terms of catching the football and being a weapon. Great player. Gronk, little mini Gronk there. You can go get him. I'm just saying. I'm not sitting here trying to give these guys all of this. And Matt Cole says it's fair, but they aren't going to do that. We just got 2 1s and 2 for a LT. Hey, first of all, 2 years ago. Second of all, we gave you, different regime. That is a different regime. We got different regimes. Dude, I'm giving you, and here's the thing. Penei Sewell is going to be better than Laramie Tunsil. Penei Sewell is a better prospect coming out of Oregon than what Laramie Tunsil was in that draft. I'm just saying. So, I'm not sitting here people out here trying to package all these firsts. Yo, man, we only have 1 first and 1 second next year. I'm not mortgaging either one of those. You think I'm going to give them the 18th as well? Are you crazy? Tua the 3rd, the 18th, and the 36th? That is nuts. We don't pick till 50? That is stupid. Come on, man. If you know who the team should make this move is, y'all are going to say I'm crazy. The Jets should be making the move. The Jets should be offering Sam Darnold the 2nd, and I believe they pick, 21st or something like that? Or 27th, sorry. They pick 27th. It's the Jags that pick 21. So they should be offering the 2nd, the 27th, and Sam Darnold for Watson. But I'm not over here. People out here trying to give 2 firsts. Listen, we mocked Bill O'Brien for what he paid for Laramie Tunsil. You think I'm about to turn around and pay a Bill O'Brien price for Deshaun Watson? Hell no. I just gave you sound reasoning as to why Tua the 3rd and the 36th makes sense. Very sound reasoning is fact. Buddy, Tua Think of it. Tua and the number 3 pick, I'm giving you technically 2 top 5 picks in the last 2 years. There's your 2 firsts. There are your 2 firsts. And I'm giving you a second. That's a 36. That's at the top of the second round of this year's draft. So you don't got to wait till next year. So, anyways, fact of the matter is, I don't think it's going to happen. I've highlighted this is cute and dandy, but I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Why does he care about compensation? So James, he donates $5. He said it's all talk so Miami can get more draft capital for the number 3 pick. See, here's where I'm at, James. I don't think they want more capital. Like, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying they're going to pass up a good deal that brings them more capital, but I think they're past trying to accumulate as much capital in the draft as they can with the rebuild. And this is my thought process. You've only got 3 years left with these corners until they're in their 30s. And you've only got 3 years left on the Byron Jones contract. So how much, you can't keep resetting every year. You got to get to a point where you're building everything and now you're plugging everything you're drafting in, not replacing with draft picks. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's got to be plug and play now. It's no longer, okay, well, you've got to play out of necessity because we don't got anyone. Okay, now we've got bodies. Now it's about plugging in the right pieces and finishing off the puzzle, right? That's how I look at this right now. So, and I agree, Michael. Fuller and Cooks are way better than what we have. I mean, who's going to keep up with, other than Jakeem Grant, who's keeping up with either one of those guys in a 40 on our team? Fuller was having 250-yard games when DeAndre Hopkins was there. People forget that because he doesn't stay healthy. Will Fuller is very, very explosive. He just can't stay healthy. Yeah, like that's the fact of the matter. Brandon Cooks, I mean, we've seen what Drew Brees did with him. He was successful in New England when he was there. He had some success with the Rams. So I don't know, man. See, here's my thing too. We're going to start mortgaging all this stuff off in year 2 of the rebuild. Like, that's the idea. We're in year 2 of the rebuild. And now the idea is, okay, let's start mortgaging everything off. I don't know if I buy that. I don't know, because I think, as much as I'm sitting here saying I don't think they're going out of their way to try and accumulate draft capital. Like I said, if a deal presents themselves, they'll do it. But I think they value the draft picks very, very highly. Like, I mean, you saw last year, right? The word was out. They were trying to move up for Wirfs, but they weren't willing to overpay to move up from 18 to get San Francisco off the fact that they might miss out on Javon Kinlaw. They weren't willing to overpay. I mean, look, they watched running backs fall off the board, safeties fall off the board, and they didn't even move up. They waited till day 3 when they saw Kinley sliding, who I had as a top 100 player, and they moved up. But it was more of a day 3, less cost move. And then look at the move they made for Breda, right? And then they didn't overpay for Breda on day 3. They said, we don't really like, I only really like Joshua Kelly was one of the few guys left there that I liked. And so I understand why they did that, because I think Breda is better than Joshua Kelly. And obviously, right, proven veteran to rookie. But anyways, what did they do? They made low cost trades that don't overly affect their capital, because moving up in the first costs money. Well, sorry, costs capital, right? So I just don't think I don't think they're ready to do that. So, it's just, I don't know. People need to, I get it. It's a sexy little, it sounds sexy to have Deshaun Watson potentially as a Miami Dolphin in the aqua and orange, but is it really going to happen, guys? I keep going back to this. Here's another thing. I don't know why no one's talking about this. I'm dropping the link. If anyone wants to join, hop on in. We can talk about this. Here's another thing what people aren't realizing, guys. Let me ask you this. All right. Is everyone forgetting that, I don't know, we can't even make this move till like March? Like, this just reeks of it's something to do with the agent right now. Again, you see what I highlighted. Why does he care what we get in terms of compensation? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I've given you guys the scenario that I would be willing, what I would be willing to part with. It wouldn't be a ton. So SC42. So we get Watson, his bloated contract, and give up a ton of draft capital, players in return. No thanks. Mr. C.W. Brown says, yes, this is agent talks. All facts. 100, 100, 100. What's going up, Todd? Daniel says it's all narratives and we don't need Watson. I'm sticking with the plan. Todd, what do you think about this whole thing?
You're nicer than me.
What do you think about this whole thing?
First off, I'd have to talk to Watson. He'd have to restructure.
Okay, which makes sense.
Number one. Number two, I'm giving him the 18 and my first round next year, because then I can trade that number 3 and get my first round back next year, plus a decent with the trade at 12 or 15 with San Francisco and get a higher pick.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up that 3 pick that they gave me.
Like, you really think they're going to give up the 18th? I mean,
that's why I said you're nicer than me.
I don't think that. No, sorry, my bad. I phrased that wrong. You think the 18th is really going to be enough?
No, that's why I said they'd have to take that in my first round next year in a second. That's why I said I could trade down and get that first round pick back next year and even sooner. I'm not going to bow to them. I'm happy with Tua. It's in their game. If he refuses to drop the no trade and just be a unhappy player with Houston, unless he goes to maybe one team or 2 teams that he picks or his agent picks, they're going to have to bow to us. I'm not bound to them. I'm the one who has my franchise quarterback on the roster already.
And who is fine with staying.
Yeah.
Tyler, what are your thoughts on the whole situation?
I'm pissed off. I know you've been seeing my tweets recently. Like, I don't get it. If I'm Miami, if I know what Tua can become with wide receivers that are better than the wide receivers I have in Miami, what makes you think I won't get Bama Tua with these draft picks that I have at my disposal?
Yeah, sticking to the plan.
Tua spent an entire offseason rehabbing his hip just so he can get drafted, just so he can play this season. 9 games. His stats in just 9 games are better than Josh Allen's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. But and not only that, you had an OC who refused to play the Tua strengths the entire time he was starting his games. Didn't go aggressive with Tua to the second half. But when he was aggressive against KC, Cincinnati, Arizona.
Yeah.
He can make the same throws, could do just as much, if not more, than Fitz. And he showed you if you needed yards, he can get it with his legs. Mm-hmm. And y'all want to trade Tua after 9 games when there's potential that now this whole entire offseason, if you think he won't work, he won't bust his butt to get better when it comes to throwing the football, working on his craft to the point where he doesn't have to solely focus on his hip. Mm. He has an entire offseason plus training camp plus mini camp. You mean to tell me you won't see a better Tua? And talking about he has no heart. He did all this just to play this season. And if I'm Houston, okay, Miami. And Miami fans, if you truly believe Deshaun is that elite, he's that important, he's better now than Tua, then give me everything. I want 3.
You muted yourself, Tyler. She's about to go in.
I'm going to make you give me everything.
Yeah.
If you believe Deshaun is that elite and he can do more than Tua did with those weapons that Tua had, you're going to give me everything to build my team back up for Tua. So that's why I'm at with it. If Miami, and I don't want Miami to leave. I don't want Tua to leave Miami because I see the draft capital that they have. Because I'm a person where if I have a plan, and so far my plan has been working, I'm sticking to it no matter what. Yeah. And my plan is to use the draft picks I have to build around Tua. Because y'all gonna be straight if y'all build around Tua. Look what the Bills, all you gotta do is follow the Bills formula. The Dolphins are literally on the Bills' path to greatness. So why would you give that up? And Deshaun, and I love Deshaun. I think he's better than Trevor Lawrence. I think he's the best quarterback to come out of Clemson over Trevor. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is not good. He's great. He's good. But do I think he's this transcendent quarterback? No. But that's just me. Especially based on what I've seen this year. So if I am the Houston, why would they not do what Miami did to them? It make no sense. But if Miami Dolphins are smart, I'm not moving off Tua. I'm gonna stay on this path that I'm currently on, build around my quarterback, and next year we're guaranteed a playoff spot and possibly go further. Tua is going to be fine. I don't understand all this panicking. I don't. But again, if Miami wants to do that, fine. But if I'm Texas, don't think I won't ask for like you said, a king's ransom just to build my team, the Texans, back up to where they could get a playoff spot. If I'm Texas, okay. I'm gonna
reason.
You really believe he's that elite? I'm gonna make you give up everything.
Oh, hold on a sec, Todd, because I got a point I want to make off of this. Okay, so here's my thing, guys. All right, so I look at this Benjamin Albright, and he says, 3 firsts, 3 seconds in the player. All right, even I told y'all, I cringe because even if I give up to a third and the 36, I'm giving up to a Penei Sewell, and I'm giving up a potential game-breaking receiver in the top of the second or a running back. Like that makes me cringe because I look at that and because here's the thing. So, okay, let's look at the offensive lines in Houston and Miami right now. Who's the best player hands down between all of them? Laramie Tunsil. It's not even close, okay? Their offensive line, it's not that great, but either is ours, all right? So let's go even further. Now we start looking at the weapons. Let's go look at the running back room. Yeah, it was nice. We had a couple 100-yard rushers this year. That's cool. But guess what? If you compare backfields, the only 1,000-yard rusher is David Johnson, all right? So now let's go to the wide receiving core. I think everyone, if we go fully healthy, we know we're going to get 16 games, 60 minutes a game, no injury. Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks compared to what we have right now, it's not even close, right? Like, here's what I'm sitting here and saying. We're going to bring Watson in. We're going to handcuff our team with draft capital and financial capital because people forget the cap's going down to like 176 million from 197 million because of COVID. And this guy goes up to 40 million next year, and then he goes up to 43 million the year after. So he becomes the second highest paid player in the NFL. So we're hampering ourselves with draft capital and financial capital. What are we going to put around? Like, here's what I'm saying. We are going to give a comparably to a little bit worse offense of what he had to work with, especially in the weapons department in Houston. And we're going to say, all right, boy, go get him. Go get him, kid. You got this. And bro, like, this is what I'm saying. We're going to be stuck in the hell of we're going to be what the Houston Texans were 2 years ago, where they're just in a continuous cycle of first-round exits. Maybe they might get to the second round, but you know it's a wrap when they get there because they don't have the O-line. They don't have the run game. It's just going to be, we're literally just going to be in this cycle of nothing. Like, we're just going to be, okay, cool. We make the playoffs every year. What the hell good is making the playoffs if I know I'm not going to the Super Bowl?
Facts.
And that's where I'm at right here. Like, that's my issue with this type of, like, you kind of nailed it, Tyler, when you talked about the Bills. Like, we literally have the blueprint being laid out, not even in just the same conference, but in the same division.
Exactly.
Like, and I don't think Greer, here's the thing. I don't think Greer and Flo would trade for Watson unless it made a ton of sense for them. Financially, I think Todd's right. He'd have to restructure. And I don't think they would put themselves in a position where that would hinder or basically bring the rebuild to a halt. And it's like, okay, we got what we got. Let's see if we can win with it.
And not only that,
I don't think they do that.
can understand if you were a quarterback away. If you were just a quarterback away, fine. But you're not. Not.
This is a San Francisco 49ers trade. That's what this is right now.
And the thing is like,
or Indianapolis.
I low-key blame, like, every time I see about trading the quarterback, I low-key blame Chan Gailey for this. Oh, I almost cussed. I low-key blame Chan for this because it's like, I understand you stuck in your own ways, but sometimes for the team, I understand Fitz is your favorite in everything, but your job is to adjust. In the games that you have led to a lose, he showed you he could throw for 300 yards. Easy. He showed you that. I mean, fourth quarter comebacks in his rookie season. He brought you within 6 points of beating Kansas City. If you would have let him loose from the get-go, y'all probably would have won that game.
And he did all those things, Tyler. He beat Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray, that Arizona team was popping off midseason. He beat them, and like you said earlier, what did he do?
And just his second game, he
wasn't even in football. He didn't even spend the offseason preparing and getting in football shape. He spent it rehabbing and the ability to even touch the field.
And
that was his focus.
I believe in Brian Flores, but I feel like he low-key trumped getting to the playoffs, which I get to an extent. But at the same time, trumped through his development just to get to the playoffs.
Yeah. All right.
So he low-key shares some of the blame on that as well.
Hey, Reason, I wanted to just say one thing before I have to get out of here.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
The reason why I think there might be a little bit more of a favor for I'm not saying I don't personally, I'd rather stick with Tua. I'm actually enjoying what I'm seeing. But the reason why I said Watson might get a little leverage is they're getting turned down for coach interviews now because of the unhappy situation.
So you think that's the leverage play? Because I asked what the leverage play was. That's the leverage play by the agent?
Number 2, his no trade clause.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he can pick teams that he thinks he can win with. And here's the thing. When it comes to the coaching, Indianapolis's coach, defensive coordinator, flat out turned down the interview for the head coaching job. Yesterday, I guess they interviewed somebody who was up in, Houston, talking about most of the good coaches are going to turn it down and wait till another opening or even maybe wait till next year.
If they're smart,
if
they want to keep Watson, all you do is you call Bieniemy and you just back up the Brinks truck. Even though I don't know if it's the right
New York.
Yeah, but I don't think he's the right hire either way. I'm not a huge Bieniemy fan.
And then not only that, you had Louis Riddick who interviewed for the GM job with the Texans. If you want to make it right, if you want to make it right, call Louis Riddick and ask him if you want the job. If you want to make it right, if you want Deshaun to stay there, you call Louis Riddick. Because if I'm Tua, okay, you want to trade me there? Or if the Houston Texans want me, and it sucks because I wish Tua had a say in all this, but he don't because he just got done with his first year. He's going in as a second-year quarterback. But
So
it's
did
like
you-
because it's like, what makes y'all think Tua wants to go to the freaking Texas, knowing it's a
Texas,
trash
yeah.
dump of an organization?
Yeah, I know.
But if
And it's like, if you want me to go
did you-
there, you hire Lewis Riddick right now.
Did you hear what also came out? I don't know if you've heard this. What came out today? The Houston Texans, they hired they outsourced, they got a third party company to basically help them with their GM search, and apparently they paid quote unquote hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the company came back and they said that they should hire Pittsburgh Steelers VP Omar Khan, and they totally ignored it, and they went with the New England executive.
See,
So
why
that
would you
came out too, and they're like, and people are like, okay, so now not only are you not listening to your quarterback, you're hiring a company that specializes in doing this kind of stuff, and you don't even listen to them. Yeah.
So it's like, why would if I'm Tua, why the hell would I want to go there if they're not going to put their top stars in position to be successful? Why would I want to go there? If that's the case, I mean,
in the off season, we talked about Watson on this channel because I don't know how long you've been around on this channel. I talked about Watson. You know what I was? There's Powerhouse was here. I'm sure there's people in the comments that were here too. I said if I was Watson, I would not sign an extension.
What I said the same thing.
No way. And then he signs it. I'm like, what are you doing? You're gonna want out in a year anyways.
I said the same thing. I said, you go sign all that money just so I have no weapons and potentially still not go to the playoffs.
You wanted the money.
I said that, and he signed it anyway. I said, so if anything, why is Deshaun Watson mad? You signed the money. You signed the contract.
He could have got he could have got that money anywhere. Yeah.
You could. I understand you want to get all the money you can, but at the same time, I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to get to the playoffs. You traded, and they talking about Deshaun Watson's anger was at a 10 when they didn't draft the coach that they wanted. I said, yo anger should have been at a 10 when they traded DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
For peanuts. That's when you should have been. That's when you should have been ready to leave, but you still signed that contract. Yeah. And I said he shouldn't sign it because he still won't have no weapons to throw to. You still running for your life. Your defense trash. You ain't got nobody to throw to, but you signed that contract anyway.
And if Watson leaves, what's their selling point to get a new head coach?
Tua. Now Tua is your selling point. All right, let's get to
who do I have to get in the draft to build my quarterback around?
Let's just say another team. Mm-hmm. What's their selling point? They have nothing to sell.
Laramie Tunsil.
Oh, that's it.
I got Laramie Tunsil and David Johnson. Who doesn't want to coach here? All right, let's hear some. Harrison, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, let's hear your thoughts on the whole Watson situation, and then J Love, let's hear your thoughts after.
Yeah, I ain't taking the Deshaun Watson trade. What is it? 3 firsts, 2 seconds, and more. I'm not doing that. You got to give up and a player. So realistically, giving up Tua, Panay. I'm going off my mock draft here, so I'm going to give up Tua, Panay, Rashad Bateman, Rondale Moore, and Tyler Shelvin, and a future first in the 20 and a future second in the 40s, hopefully, maybe higher. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing that. Plus, you've got to take on $40 million in cap with the salary cap decreasing. No, I'm not doing that. We need to build dynasties, not a Super Bowl, and doing that is building a team, not a patchwork of a quarterback with a couple of players.
Yeah, I've highlighted what Ben Albright reported a couple of days ago. The asking price is.
Yeah, I'm not matching that. No way. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up a top 5 pick in Tua. I'm not giving up a transcendent tackle in Panay, and then an 18th, 50th, and then a future first and a future second. No chance.
Yeah,
not happening.
I just so you know, Harrison, I see you're a Villa fan. I'm a Chelsea fan. So nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah. Well, I am from England, so I'm the odd one. I'm the one who none of my mates watch American football. So
when I saw that tweet by Benjamin Albright, I said, "There's no way if I'm Miami, I am giving him that.
Yeah, because the players Tua.
I also went, and not even Tua, I'm giving him that. But if I'm Houston, I don't blame them for asking for that. I want my team to win too.
But if you think about that That's the 3rd, the 18th, our first next year, the 36th, the 50th. Like we're literally mortgaging 2 drafts and Tua Tagovailoa for Watson. And what I keep going back to the 2 drafts. I mean, think about it. By the time we can start making picks again, we will be in the final year of Byron Jones's contract. And I still believe X will be around as long as he is. So we'll be in the final year of X will be about to hit 30. So, but J Love, let's hear your thoughts on the whole Watson thing, buddy.
All right, but before I say this, I have 2 things to say. The first reason is not responsible for this response because I know how the chat gets irrational when you keep it black and white. One of our most beloved athletes ever is basically Dan Marino. I do not want another Dan Marino situation. If you bring Watson, you're basically doing the same thing that you did to Marino, the exact same thing. And there's a reason why that Dwayne Wade is the king of this city and not Dan Marino because of the championships at the end of the day. And what you said earlier was very true. If you're not playing for the Super Bowl, you got to build. You got to tank. You can't be in the middle. That's what's been killing the Dolphins for the past 2 decades. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You either suck or you're a contender, a legit contender. I'm not talking about top 8. I'm talking about at least top 4 where you can show your cojones. And number 2, please do not let this be a distraction. Get Penei Sewell by all means necessary. Before I continue with this, I was part of the Tua hate last year of not picking Tua at 5. Why? I will make a legit reason why. Why? Because I knew the Dolphins was going to pull that BS. Instead of moving up for getting a legit tackle, they sat there, picked somebody that wasn't legit, and then pulled one of the most stupid, in my opinion, one of the most stupidest picks at 30. If you go back to time and do that's what they wanted to do at 30, I guarantee you people will be fighting the Dolphins to move up to get Tristan Wirfs, with somebody reasons been vouching for last year. Stay on course. Get to that offensive lineman. Get Penei Sewell by all means necessary. We learned our lesson last year. We sat at our original place, and look who we ended up with. No disrespect to Mr. Jackson at all, but he isn't Tristan Wirfs. And let's all agree, after Penei Sewell, it's a huge drop off. And I do not trust the Dolphins to even make a legit pick at 18. We can't. Nobody can.
Oh,
Nobody.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Nobody. Yeah. In my opinion, this is my opinion, because I know a lot of people are going to call me crazy. I would rather the Dolphins work with the Jets, give up the 3 and 18 to move to number 2 to get Penei Sewell by all means necessary. You have nothing to lose there. Nothing.
Let me hit you with this, J Love. Just add context to what you're saying right now. You can continue on. I just want to put this up because I saw people saying in the comments off you, they're saying, oh, Penei's not going to be there. So I'm going to actually add context and support. And I'm going to support your narrative right now because, like I said, Incarcerated Bob, guys, if you don't know who he is, he's one of the most plugged in people to New York sports, every sport. Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Islanders, Jets, Giants, it doesn't matter. Whatever sport he's plugged in on. And look at what he's saying here, guys. He's saying Joe Douglas will shop Sam Darnold this offseason. So let me ask you this. If Justin Fields balls out, what do you guys think the pick's going to be? It's going to be Justin Fields. It's not going to be Penei Sewell. So look, it even goes deeper here. It says Douglas was not impressed with Sam's ability to throw the ball deep and make certain reads after second half defensive adjustments. You know why that's worrisome, guys? Just look at what year he's in. Like, what did I tell all of you? What are you going to take time, invest in a young quarterback and mold him in your vision and how you want? Or are you going to work on fixing Gase's mistakes and stuff that he instilled in this kid, bad habits? And look, you're already seeing he doesn't like bad habits. So I'm telling you right now, it's going to be like Penei Sewell is going to be there at 3. So, anyways, J Love, continue on with your point.
If you're at 3, Don't think. Don't waste a second. Don't waste a minute. Don't do it. Run to the podium. Run. Like I said, we learned our lesson from last year. If last year didn't teach you anything, like I said, I was a Tua hater because I knew the Dolphins was not going to go heavily invested into that left or right tackle, which they proved me right because right now, Noah is a huge buzz factor. I'm not saying that his career will be trash. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about where the Dolphins got him at and where other players completely balled. Remember, you was begging for Antoine Winfield. Who's the best?
Jonathan Taylor was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have drafted better.
Oh my God, bro!
And to J Love's point, people are saying Chris Greer and Brian Flores are smart. They're gonna make the right decisions. I won't put them past them to do so, but at the same time, this is the Miami Dolphins we're talking about here. We'll see when it comes to the free agency and the draft. I believe it when I see it. I keep telling them, I believe it when I see it, depending on the choices they make in this draft. Because to J Love's point, Noah Igbenogany, I'm pretty sure he is going to be good.
Yeah.
But they low-key reached for him.
Heavily.
So they low-key reached for him. And you could have got a running back with that pick. You could have got another offensive tackle with that pick. So they could have also, even though in the first couple of picks they drafted well, but they also they still could have drafted better. So
I think they if you go back to when I was on the other platform, when I started out and when I was doing the draft day, right, guys, not only did literally before the pick happened, I was saying, please do not be Austin Jackson. And lo and behold, Austin Jackson ended up being I literally on record saying that. And they reached on Austin Jackson. You could have got him in the 20s. All right. And they should have just taken Cesar Ruiz right there. Just called it a freaking day. And you would have got your center or your guard situation figured out. But they didn't. And Noah Igbenogany, when I look at the season, all y'all know, just Jonathan Taylor was my running back 1. Antoine Winfield was my safety 1. Go look at the season. Antoine Winfield just out, okay? Jonathan Taylor, I mean, do we even have to talk about the season Jonathan Taylor just had? Jonathan Taylor, was coming on at the end there. Obviously, they got a better offensive line right now in Indianapolis than we have, but, and this is another thing what people have to get to. And going back to Watson for a sec, with all the money that's got to be spent. Guys, we've only got $37.5, I believe, million right now. Okay, we've got to increase the guaranteed money on X. Nick Needham needs to be re-upped because Nick Needham is going to be a free agent right now. We actually have to spend money in-house right now. So,
they also saying that it's a new report saying Watson's been on vacation. I can't test that because I follow him on Instagram. So they say he's been on vacation, so he hasn't even talked to the Texans about a trade or anything. So this is just speculation. And I laugh because Reason, every time I watch your R22, you be on Austin Jackson's neck. So that's how I know you didn't want him at all. Yeah. So it's I don't know, man. It's just, again, I'm not putting anything past this organization, even though I believe Chris Greer and B-Flow work together as a team when it comes to the decision that they make for this team, but I still wouldn't put it past them to make a crazy decision. And my thing is, you are, again, I'm going to say it again, you are on the same path the Bills are on. Your game plan so far for this organization has worked. If I'm them, I stay the course. Mm-hmm. Like Mel Kiper has said, like Marcus Spears has said, you got this draft, you got all these draft capitals, you have the chance to guarantee a playoff spot and possibly a Super Bowl next season if you give Tua another year and build around him. Mm-hmm. You have a chance. But at the same time, like J Love, I would not put it past this organization to do something crazy when it comes to Deshaun Watson. And again, I like Deshaun Watson. He's a good player. Even at 25 years old, to me, he's better than Trevor Lawrence, the best quarterback to come out of Clemson. But I would not make this move. I would stay the course. That's just my opinion.
And another point.
Aren't we all done on Austin Jackson? Sorry, go ahead.
Say again?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to, what did you ask about Austin Jackson? Sorry, one more time.
Yeah. I've heard that all of you lot are slating Austin Jackson. I know he hasn't had the best rookie year, but I think people forget that he hasn't had an off-season in 2 years. You know, 2 years ago at USC, he gave
nobody's questioning that. The important lesson that we learned, nobody's saying Andrew Jackson's a bust. The important lesson that we learned is there's a difference on the board between the elites and middle tier. You see what you just said. Andrew Jackson, okay, let's wait 2-3 years.
Well, I also don't think they took best player available. I think they panicked because they saw tackles going.
Yeah.
Like if you go back to my big board last year, like one of the first videos I put out was my offensive tackle big board. Austin, because I do my top 5 and then my honorable mentions, and my honorable mentions are like 6 through 10 usually. So it's my fancy way of saying a top 10 board. Austin Jackson was my 10th tackle. He was my 5th left tackle, but he ended up being my 10th tackle on my board. Like, dude, everything you saw Bradley Chubb do to him, I don't want to hear. That was a problem before the bone marrow stuff. Like, you know, Bradley and I owned him with it. You know what I mean? Like he can't stand people coming across his face. He got a serious problem. And the guy, like I've talked to Richmond Webb privately about this, man. Like he's flawed. For a guy his size, he needs to hit the weight room. That's what's crazy to say about him. Look at his size. His hand placement, his hand technique sometimes is terrible. He looked like a totally different night and day player from after the injury. I've said the whole time maybe he came back to it early. I don't know what the deal was, but I wasn't, you know, I started, you know what it looked like? It looked like Bradley Chubb watched the USC tape, then put it on the field, and then every other edge player said, "Oh, that's how it's done against this kid." And you know, I don't think Eric Flowers helped his cause. I think Eric Flowers was one of our worst linemen this season. I don't care what PFF tries to tell me. I trust my eyes in the all-22. And you saw how many times did Eric Flowers drive a defender into Austin Jackson's hip and he had to disengage his block or whatever the case may be, right? Like put it this way, especially in the run, how much better was Austin Jackson when Solomon Kinley was in there? And Solomon Kinley, if you go back to my film analysis, I basically put out there was Solomon Kinley. I think Solomon Kinley was the reason Andrew Thomas got drafted so high. Because if you watch Andrew Thomas's year, he's really, really struggled in New York. Like now they're talking about moving him to guard. When I was the first one last year, if y'all remember the other platform I was on, I posed that question to the Tuesday night panel. Hey, I've been watching him. Is he a guard? You got to ask this question about him. And now people are thinking, oh, he might be a guard because he's not that good. But Solomon Kinley, that's the factor, right? Andrew Thomas's play elevated. And now look at Austin Jackson's play was much, much better, especially in the run game with Kinley next to him. So that's why when I hear people say, move Austin Jackson to left guard, like, what are you talking about? Let this kid develop, all right? He's got the size. He's got way better feet than Robert Hunt. This isn't a fundamental issue here, right? Like this is a technique. Coaching can be coached up, hit the weight room type of issue in terms of with his hand placement, his hand technique, you know, just being better coming out of his kick slide, squaring up faster. You know, I can coach that stuff because his feet are already quick enough, right? The weight room, I leave up to my strength and conditioning guys. So, you know, and on top of that, he's a left tackle. I got a left-handed quarterback. That's oncoming traffic. He's not protecting a blind side. So I don't got, you know, and Kinley is the answer at left guard. Kinley's a proven commodity. That's his natural position. All right. That's where he got his draft stock off of was left guard. So he's the natural guy. It's Hunt that needs to be kicked in. Hunt's the one out of position that needs to go to guard. And then you find your right tackle because I think here's the thing. I'll go out there and say that if you draft Penei Sewell and you kick him to the right, and if you and you kick Hunt on the inside, I think we got Richmond Webb, Keith Sims 2.0. And for all you young cats who don't know who those guys are, I mean, we're talking about all-decade players who protected Dan Marino's blind side through the whole 90s. You know, Richmond
Tim
Webb's
Ruddy.
the greatest left tackle of the 90s. I don't care what the Hall of Fame tries to tell me. Right? Keith Sims, probably the best left guard.
Need a Tim Ruddy, man.
So that's what we can get at a Hunt and Panay Sewell. I want to build the brick wall. That's where this focus needs to be at, not acquiring a quarterback when we've already think we've got our guy. And like Tyler said, we haven't even given him a season to get his football body ready. Pause. We haven't given him, a season to actually sit there and work with every weapon we have on this roster post-draft or post-free agency or whatever and get some rhythm, get routine. And here's another thing. If Godse's the hire internally, Tua's Godse's boy. Chris Godsey, if he's our offensive coordinator, Tua's his boy. Look how closely they've been working together. You think, and that's one of the reasons apparently they want to promote Godsey's because of his work with Tua. So
and I'm gonna say this
makes sense, right?
I'm gonna say this to get off because this tweet kind of sums it up perfectly. He said Dolphins fans thought they knew who Tannehill was after 7 years, and look at what he's done in Tennessee. Which makes it even funnier that there are really some fans who believe they know what Tua is after 7 games. Shoot, after 9 games.
Well, this is what I said, Tyler. Listen to me. And I know you saw it. Dolphin fans want to give Ryan Tannehill 7-8 years, okay?
Yeah.
Some Dolphin fans say Josh Rosen didn't give a fair shake, okay?
Yep.
So we want to give this kid 9 games and the literal definition of not having a fair shake, and we're cool with that.
All I know is I'm gonna wait till the draft. I'm probably not gonna be on Twitter as much.
I'm not gonna go into what. Hey, I'm not gonna go into what the obvious difference between Tannehill and Rosen, and then a Samoan quarterback is. I'm not gonna go into the obvious difference.
You ain't got to explain to me.
I mean, I want to hear what other people's reasoning is.
You ain't got to explain to me.
If it ain't the fact that, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He ain't the shade of a ghost. If that ain't the fact, I want to know what people's reasoning is, because people were even let's throw Watson. Okay, Watson is just the flavor of the week right now. People were already talking about this before Watson. Okay, people were talking about Fields and Zach Wilson. It's just Watson's the sexier name to talk about now. So I want to hear what people's legitimate, because listen, there's legitimate people who have played the game, who have been scouts in the game, who get paid 6 figures to do this, who are saying, yo, build around the kid. He's shown you enough that if you build around him, you might have more than something here. You might have something special.
Yeah.
Well, listen to Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp's one of the greatest tight ends to ever play. If Gronk didn't exist, it wouldn't even be a question who the greatest is. And who's one of the biggest supporters ever? Dan Orlovsky. He played the position at the NFL level better than any of us on this round table right now or in the chat. And what is he saying?
And watch film and points out things that could work with Tua. He loves Tua. Watch film better than most any of us.
Yeah, man.
I don't even watch film like that. I just know some things based on just watching football and trying to be as logical as I can. I wish I could watch film and know what plays are being called, knowing what the defense are doing. That's going to take more work for me. But I trust Dan Orlovsky's assessment, Louis Riddick, Shannon Sharp, Mel Kiper. They're telling you stay on the path and build with him. And then Josh Rosen, did he play his entire rookie season in Miami?
No, he played his rookie season in Arizona. He started what? How many games he started? I think he started. What did he start? He started I think he started 12 or 14 games, and then he played 4 with us. He's played 6.
And people trying to say ain't nothing wrong with going the Arizona route. First of all, they brought a whole new coaching staff in. They didn't draft Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to them not to want Josh Rosen. They went after Kyler Murray. Now, Kyler Murray got all those weapons and stuff, but some still missing because they didn't go to the playoffs. So if Kyler Murray can do all this running and stuff, running and throwing, you still need weapons around you to get to the playoffs. I said the same thing about Cam Newton. Cam Newton can do all that running and throwing, but I've always said Cam Newton is an inaccurate passer. But he can do all that running and throwing. He only got to the playoff. He only got to the Super Bowl 1 year his entire career in North Carolina. I said Cam Newton was a Deshaun Watson. But the difference is, just like Deshaun Watson, he didn't have no weapons until that 1 year where he had a defense and weapons to get him to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback, can make every throw, sidearm, all that, no look, all
off
that.
platform, anything.
All that. But why do Green Bay Packers fans get mad when the organization doesn't get him a wide receiver? Matthew Stafford, Detroit, talented quarterback, generational talent for Detroit, never in the playoffs. Why? Because the coach sucks, or because he needs weapons and he stay getting killed.
No running game. No running game since Barry Sanders. He had no running game since Barry Sanders. And that's our issue here. Our issue here is, look, we're focused about throwing the ball instead of focusing about having a running game that can be dominant. Everybody's talking about Aaron Jones. Everybody's talking about Javonte Williams. Everybody's talking about Najee. If we can run the ball down people's throat as well as throw the ball, I just don't understand. I know how it is. The quarterback situation is always going to be top dog. And I know we got a puppy right now. We got a puppy. But, man, if we can have a dominant running game with those quarterbacks you just named, they have what? A dominant running game.
Yep.
Except for
and
Watson.
O-line.
Watson is
and
a
a good
different
O-line. And they have a good O-line. And they have a good
Watson's
O-line.
a different level. He's done it on his own.
Deshaun Watson, same thing.
And an O-line. Dominant O-line.
Deshaun Watson, same thing. Generational talent for the Houston Texans. But they never make the playoffs. Why? Because their defense is trash. He stayed running for his life. And they gave
he
up.
done it on his own. They never had a running game.
And so you need to tell me, but you got Dolphins fans saying he can do it. He has the ability to put the team on his back. Honestly, not, because they only got 4 wins with the guy.
Honestly, Tyler, I think Aaron Rodgers is the only quarterback right now that can put an offense on his back. That's the only guy who's shown you I can take you to and not even a Super Bowl. He's like, I can take you to an NFC championship game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can get you 1 win away, but I do need a little bit of help, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, guys, let's be honest. Devontae Adams, he's amazing. Like, he's incredible. But I mean, like, Aaron Rodgers makes there's players who make people like good around them. He makes players great around him. Like the guy makes remember what he's doing last year with like Valdez Scantling and stuff like that. He got them to like an NFC championship because Devontae was hurt.
I'm getting tired of people saying in the comments Tua doesn't trust his arm. Excuse my language. That's complete bullshit.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that.
That's bullshit.
You know what?
He's dealing with wide receivers.
Tyler,
he throw him the deep ball. They can't catch the damn ball.
And you know what, Tyler? And he doesn't trust the protection. And if he didn't trust his arm, why do you make that throw to Gesicki in the KC game?
And triple coverage.
Hey, Reason, you know what it comes down to?
Go ahead.
There's too many average fans that go to somebody else's channel and they don't come and watch what you do with the All 22.
Thanks.
Hey,
he don't know what the hell he's talking about. Yeah, I said his name. He don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Hey, the only reason I didn't say the name is I don't want to give him any free publicity.
Man, ooh.
Hey, I've told all of y'all, anyone who tries to pass off highlight packages or broadcast as film, you got to start questioning stuff. All right. Ball game. What's good? Oh, he's going off right now. Why is anyone even discussing this? The media is just trolling everyone right now. Watson ain't going to change anything right now.
Exactly.
That's what we're saying. We're saying that.
Yeah. We're trying to temper expectations out here.
A couple years ago, when anybody became a free agent, what team were they attached to? New England.
I do.
Yeah.
Now we're the up and coming team, so everybody that are on the trade block or a free agent, they're going to try to attach to us.
Well, here's another thing. You know why Watson probably wants to come here? He probably wants to play for Brian Flores.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
I mean, if you want to play for Eric Bieniemy, you want to play for Brian Flores because he's a better coach than Eric Bieniemy. Let's be honest with ourselves right now.
Wait, so why does Deshaun want Eric Bieniemy though? If what you say is true that he hasn't interviewed well, why does Deshaun want him? Because he came from Kansas City.
I guess so. So here's the thing. I don't know if you saw this, Tyler, but so I've had this discussion privately with Dante and stuff, and he's talked to. And guys, if you didn't see, Dante Collinelli, he made his announcement. He's doing the draft Bible NFL Draft Bible. He's over with them, and NFL Draft Bible, they have something in the works with Sports Illustrated right now that should be coming soon that he'll be a part of. But all right, so Dante Collinelli, he talked about this. Basically, what he said was, so people he's talked to that are in the NFL, connected to the NFL, you know, his exact quote, way more connected than he is. All right. They basically told him it's not just about that he doesn't interview well. There's a belief in the NFL that it's Andy Reid and the quarterback's coach, Mike Kafka. Kafka took over in 2018, Mahomes' MVP season. And apparently, like, they have a really, really good. And if you go, I mean, Rhino himself looked into it. Kafka is actually listed as the offensive play calling, like, specialist or coordinator or something like that. Basically, he's the offensive play caller, Mike Kafka. So that's why a lot of people are like, Kafka's the one that a lot of people are saying he might even get head coach looks, right from a quarterback coach to head coach looks, because they believe it's Andy Reid and Kafka, and Bieniemy's just the guy that's there. That's the belief. It has nothing to do with like racial or even the interviewing. It's actually the belief that in circles they believe Bieniemy isn't as hands-on as the public thinks that he might be.
Kafka's basically what Joe Brady was to LSU.
Exactly. And he has the relationship with Mahomes, right? Like, he's developed Mahomes, and that's why Mahomes had the MVP and the Super Bowl under Kafka. So that's why everyone wants Kafka.
I mean, if you feel like Godsey, because I've seen Godsey always, you know, sitting by Tua. I mean, so like Reason said, that would be the way to go unless you have someone in the works to come here like a Ken Dorsey. So, you know, I mean, it's really simple. Just stay the course. If you want to do an internal hire and get Godsey to be OC, okay, you have your OC. Now you can work on free agency. Marvin Jones, I guess Marvin Jones looks like he wants to come to Miami. I mean,
but how much? Tyler, he's 31. How much we got to pay this guy? You know what I mean? He's 31.
I think he would come for a reasonable price.
Well, it better be, because, man, I got so much draft capital and financial capital. I could go Juju Smith. Here's the thing. I would actually take Curtis Samuel over over Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
I
mean, look, if you guys establish that offensive line, and that offensive line becomes dominant, you can have everybody would want to come here knowing that offensive line is a brick wall. Tua's going to have another year. Everybody will want to come here for 1 year. I don't think 1 year would kill anybody to come here.
Cap, the move, if it happens, if Green Bay lets Corey Linsley walk, you back the Brink trucks up and you say, bye-bye, Teddy boy. See ya. And then you have Dieter as the backup. But I don't know if you saw yesterday, I showed a picture that Dieter showed on Instagram, and it was him and Tua. Here, I'll bring it up for you so you can see what I'm talking about. Because you gotta wonder, is the play gonna be Dieter at center?
If Dieter's at center, I want Aaron Jones from Green Bay.
You know,
you guys were talking about that. He comes and we get like Javonte Williams to back him up. Oh my God. Or Najee, bro. Najee.
Hey, if you're gonna pay somebody in free agency, they got to be a difference maker this year, because we have players like Nick Needham that need to be re-signed.
I know. That's why I want Linsley, because he's a top 5 center.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I'm saying Marvin Jones is not a difference maker. I'm not going to pay him anything when I have in-house that I got to take care of.
See, you got to pay, and because you know how I am, Todd. I'm old school. I take care of in-house first before I start paying other guys. So, and I think you got to guarantee more money to X.
Yep.
So here's the pick. When I was talking about Cap, it's Tua and Dieter, and obviously says like that's a white 80. That's a quarterback call, right? And then Set Hut, and then look at, if you go down here, I think Reed Sinnett commented on it. So let me see if I can pull up Reed Sinnett's comment. Reed Sinnett commented, and he said like he did the Set Hut hashtag as well. Right here. See? Miami Set Hut. So that's the backup quarterback, right? So now this makes me think this might be the play.
Yeah.
Because think of it. This is why might this be a good thing. Guys, besides what? Besides Alec Lindstrom from Boston College, right? Besides Trey Hill, besides Creed Humphrey, besides Landon Dickerson, and who else? Besides
the guy from Ohio State,
Josh Myers.
Josh Myers.
Yeah.
5 guys. There's like literally 5 guys that are worth drafting. Like that's a narrow pool when you actually think about if there's a run, you're screwed.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's one position you cannot afford to run on. So that could be the move. I'm just saying.
And see, here's the thing though. If there's gonna be a run on 2 positions. One is gonna be inside linebacker, which I think is smaller than the center window.
It's about the same. It's literally about the same.
About inside linebacker in the draft and go with Dieter as my center if anything came down to it.
No, well, yeah, so would I. I would rather one of those blue chip linebackers than I would a one of those blue chip centers. Could Humphrey had I think Landon Dickerson's the best center.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, and again, the familiarity with Tua.
Yeah, I watched Landon Dickerson play all season.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, find somebody.
People.
Find somebody to put on their ass.
Isn't he hurt?
If he got nobody,
he got hurt at the end.
What I like about him is if he ain't got nobody to block, he goes find somebody to block.
I don't think he's gonna fall though because he's gonna be healthy for the start of the season and he's got really good tape.
Declared for the draft. He might go back next year to prove that he's healthy and go back to where all those teammates gave him love.
I don't know, man.
His film is too. His film. If I landed Dickerson, his film is too strong this year.
Yeah, he killed it, bro.
He's a very
and Creed Humphrey struggled compared to last year, so he's like clearing away the best center if he comes out.
And not only that, he just ain't played the center position. He played other positions.
Guard.
So you also get someone who has played multiple positions.
And y'all already know how much Guerrero and Flores love those type of guys, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like y'all know why I value Rashawn Slater as the number 2 tackle, right? Because he actually has reps at guard and center as well. Like, think of how much they value that. A guy who can play left tackle and guard and left guard and center.
Well,
that's stupid.
I don't think Dickerson tore his ACL. Did he tear his ACL? Because I saw him walking on it in the playoffs when he was out.
About Dickerson?
Yeah, he was walking on it with no crutches.
No, he tore his ACL.
He tore his what?
ACL.
Well, he was walking on that thing.
I'm not that. You know what? The other thing Flores loves is bleeders.
SOB if he walking on a torn ACL.
And as a center, when they carted him off, he told them to bring him back out to the field because he wanted to watch his boys finish it off.
Yeah, I love Landon Dickerson. I love the way he plays. He got so much. He's got so much. He makes the offensive line entertaining to watch, especially when you see the things he does after a play. He's a center that talks trash, that talks a lot of crap.
By the way, don't bring up Dan Orlovsky anymore. The other day he was quoted saying Miami should make that trade.
Oh, this guy's flip-flopping like a pair of sandals, bro.
At this point, whatever happens. I believe in Tua's talent. I've been watching him for 3 years. And so, would I want him to go to the Texans? No, because even with Deshaun show, they don't do anything to help their superstar athletes.
Someone tell ball game to hit the caps lock button. This guy's like yelling at people out here.
He said you could tear ACL and walk on. I did. I couldn't. I got 2 on each leg.
He had surgery like right after the game too, eh? Like they got him in and he had surgery.
Yeah.
Hey, putting Tua behind that O-line in Houston would screw his career.
It would. And that's what's so sad about it. That's why I hope Miami doesn't trade for Watson. I'd give the kid a chance. And if he doesn't show you what you wanted, what you need to see from him next season, then hey, it is what it is.
I don't
think look, just give him a chance. That's all I'm saying. 9 games is not enough to know what Tua is going to be. And then you had Adam, I don't know what's the dude's name, but he one of Miami's journalists talking about Tua was a finished product. No, not Adam Beasley. It was somebody else. His last name started with a P. But he's talking about how Tua was a finished product. How is he a finished product at 22 years old and only 9 games in?
And you know what kills me is Miami being ahead of schedule is what is killing Tua also. If we would have all went 8-8, where everybody was predicting, they would be happy right now. But being 1 game away from the playoffs and losing to Buffalo has everybody saying, "Oh, we should have beat." Come on now, you were all predicting 8-8. We're 10-6. Be happy. Shut up.
And then, somebody said how Tua was inaccurate versus the Bills. First of all, dude went 35 of 56. Had they catch 11 on the balls, 44-56, and you probably would have scored more points. Them dropping balls were drive killers.
And probably over 500 yards.
And I loved what Reason did with the all-22. There were so many routes that everybody went out. There was nobody open for the man.
No one.
Dude, I literally put in my notes on those type of things. Like literally, I don't even put what to say. I just say like pause at 9:43, and I already know what it's going to be. So I just like, oh, there you go. Like it's ridiculous.
When we was watching Bills versus the Colts, every Miami fan was saying, and this is what's so funny to me. Every Miami Dolphins fans were saying, why couldn't Mike Gesicki get open like that? Look at how much time Josh Allen has in the pocket. And you really think if Tua has all of that, we would be having this discussion?
Exactly.
You're literally naming all the things Tua doesn't have on this roster right now.
If Tua had that type of time, he'd be Rookie of the Year right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If Tua went to the Chargers, you mean to tell me he wouldn't have the same amount of numbers as Herbert? He showed you against Arizona, freaking Cincinnati, Kansas City that he could get 300 yards easily. It's nothing.
He showed it a clean pocket with what Reason has brought up before, where 10 touchdowns, no interceptions.
With a clean pocket.
In a clean pocket. The only starter in the NFL.
The only thing I see right now is
what up, Mr. Ballgame?
What's up? The untrustworthy and unloyal media going out and doing exactly what they do every year when a team that they early in the season, before the season starts, predict that the team's not going to do anything worthwhile. And that team turns that entire narrative upside down on its head. They come back trying to spin all this other foolishness around trying to say then at that point what that team needs to do to get themselves over the top.
Hey,
I recall a lot of this foolishness. You know what I'm saying?
I don't blame the media though. Who I blame is on this particular moment is that agent throwing it out there.
Oh no,
he knows the media is going to run with it.
But that's the whole point, right? It's to get something else going, because now at this point he's got a disgruntled. Now listen, here's a kicker: Deshaun signed that contract. You knew what situation you were walking yourself into by signing that contract.
After the D-Hop trade, like he knew what it was.
You knew what it was. So, and listen, I feel for him, but at the same time, the players don't run the league.
Hey,
and unfortunately,
let him finish, Todd. Let him finish, Todd.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he can be as upset as he wants to be, but at the end of the day, you signed that contract and they got you, buddy. Bad part about it is that it gives the media all this time to throw all these other scenarios out there that, although, yes, Greer has to do his job of listening to it, it takes away from what these guys need to be focusing on the most is solidifying and continuing their growth towards being a team together. Bringing Deshaun in, that contract, no matter how they modify it, it's going to take a big chunk out of the money that we got currently, and that's going to take away from us being able to add anything around him. So he'll be no better off. He'll just have a better defense. Yep. But if you don't have anybody to throw to, what the point of having him? You're going to waste him. You're going to waste him. I mean, I'm going to say he'll be wasted with us. If the situation were better and we had assets already in place, then, pull the trigger. But at this point right now, I'm willing to go and say that I can have the same level of efficiency from Tua if they go and add the pieces around, because this is something that he's already been at ground zero with, right? And every step that they took this year after inserting him into the roster, inserting him into the starting position, has been their growth together. Now you go and you inject a whole new body in. I don't care what I don't care how talented he is. You're starting all the way back over from scratch, and you're cutting away at the very loyalty threads that you've weaved together with this group.
Yep.
They've solidified themselves into going out there and sacrificing themselves for each other, right? What are you saying as an organization if you turn around then at that point and you rip
ball game? You had
to
to convince that offense in that room to get off Fitz
for
Tua. Now you're gonna turn around and do that to him. And here, bro, you made so many good points there.
It's bigger, bro. I'm telling you, it's way big. Team cohesiveness is way bigger than just putting guys on a team and saying, okay, y'all go play and figure it out. No, they got trust is the first thing. If you don't have trust on the football field, you're not winning many games, man.
Let me hit you with this. Because me and you would do with Richmond, the player, the coach thing. Let me hit you with this, all right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You just brought up about the fluidity. You want to keep a fluid situation, the fluidity, right, of this offense, okay? Me and you both agree Godsey is going to be the higher probably, right?
Yep.
Okay. Can you also agree with me that when I make this statement, Tua seems like he's Godsey's guy?
Oh, yeah, they buddies.
Why are you going to here's the thing. Okay, and Tyler, you saw it yourself too, right? If everyone wants to believe that Chris Kaufman report, which has turned out to be right, that I showed up here about Chan, what did he say in there? That Chan found out through the media that Fitz got benched, and they were making moves without the offensive coordinator even being involved, because Greer and Flores got their own vision, their own plan, and look what they did. Arizona game, COVID. Robbie Brown loses his play calling duties, between Greer and the field. So who steps in? Godsey. What happens? Flores never gives it back to Brown because Godsey is Flores' guy. See what's happening here? There's already a vision. There's already an idea in place. That's why I've said they're going to Godsey's going to get promoted. And don't be surprised if Bill O'Brien doesn't go to Alabama, that they try to bring him in as an advisor, because there's a plan in place. The plan was to do what they did with Boyer. They promoted him. Flores worked with him. That we're doing the same with Chan Gailey and Godsey. Now they're going to promote him. That's what I'm sitting here saying. There's an internal plan in place. Deshaun Watson if you get Deshaun Watson, there's no point in promoting Godsey.
Facts.
You might as well go find a whole new coordinator and a whole new staff, because your whole vision that you've already started to plant the seeds for, you're not even letting it blossom. You're just taking the seeds out of the dirt and throwing them in the garbage, and you're saying, all right, you're saying go down to the local floral store and just go buy me some trees and some plants that are already fully grown, and let's just throw them in here. That would be the new approach on offense. But we already spent all that money on our defense. So you can't infuse how you would have had to draft the defense and then infuse in the offensive capital. But we went the reverse, where we infused and upgraded our defense because they knew what was out there. And then they turned around and they said, okay, we're going to use our capital on offense.
Yeah. You're right.
Because I said this, we got $37.5 million ball game. We got to guarantee X more money. Nick Needham is a free agent, and he's going to want good slot money, which is going to be about what, $6 to $8 million.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you restructure X, and you got to put, people forget, what did people should have learned from last year's draft with all those picks? Because we have 2 firsts and 2 seconds, we have to put 18 to 20 million aside just on our draft picks alone this year. You see how everything ain't adding up right now?
Yeah. The Deshaun Watson contract kills all of that. Bye-bye.
Who has benefited from
bye-bye Needham. You know what I mean?
What I don't understand, what quarterback doesn't want a good defense so they can trot back on the field and get points and also help their team win the game? What team doesn't want a good defense? I don't understand y'all knocking him for that.
Knocking who?
No, I'm reading the comments.
Oh, nah. See, here's the process that I think people. I mean, and I get it because I've been a fan of the Dolphins since 1979. right? We've never seen this, and I keep repeating this over and over again. You've seen a lot of teams go through a lot of different types of rebuilds and all this thing, but the Dolphins never did it. We did a whole bunch of patchwork over the years. But this complete rebuild now has people thinking, well, if you can go pluck this piece, an A+ at quarterback, but you don't get that. You got an A+ at quarterback, but you got a C- at offensive line. That's a train wreck, right? Or you got an A+ at quarterback, you got a C- at offensive line, and you got D at wide receivers. Or better yet, C because I give him a C because Devontae Parker holding that whole group by himself. But collectively, they're bringing his grade down, right? You're not winning anything with that. You're still in the same boat you in, and you're going to have another whole situation where your defense has got to carry you for the majority of the season. And when you need them the most, they're not going to have anything for you in the playoffs if you make it that far because they wore out. They were tired. You're spinning your wheels, wasting time doing the same thing over again, and we ain't trying to do that. The progress we made from the year one with 5 wins to 10 wins is astronomical because you never see it. Tell me another team you've seen double up their wins in a matter of one season, and I'll tell you exactly that they're on the right track to doing something special like we have been. Buffalo Bills did it. And they stayed the course. They spent on defense to build up the defense first. Then they came back. They built the line last year. And then in the offseason, they got all of the weapons that Allen needed to complete the process. They gave 2 years for that defense to gel together. The offensive line had a year last year, and now this is their second year together. Now Allen has weapons that plugged and play. Now we good, but they did it the same way we're doing it now. And I don't understand why they've given you a model. You've seen it up close and personal. It's right there in our division. We follow the same script. We're going to be even better because I believe that our defense is even more elite than theirs.
Facts.
So I don't understand why people want to rush out and go grab all this other stuff off the shelf. Stick to the grocery list, man. When you go into the grocery store, your wife, if you married and your wife give you a list, she didn't tell you to go over to the cookie aisle and grab every darn pack.
Don't bring up my Nutter Butters. Don't you dare bring up my Nutter Butters.
Get the Nutter Butters because that's an essential. But at the same time, you don't need the ho-hos and all of the hostess, all this other stuff. Get what you need. And that's what we're doing. This draft is going to be loaded with offensive talent. Probably one of the most at wide receiver and skill positions in quite some time, and we'll have our plethora of being able to get what we need. And most of the kids coming out are going to be ready to play right away. You see what I'm saying? So why even stress it? And there'll be automatic upgrades to the guys that we already have, which is crazy to me because you would think that without a shadow of a doubt that NFL pros are supposed to be ready and all, but we've seen it, man. 11 drops on Sunday proved to me that we can get better. And I've seen kids that are way more sure-handed than the guys that we have right now. And I think a lot of what happens sometimes is guys get into the NFL and they get complacent because they get comfortable and they stop doing the exact same things that, you know what I'm saying, that got them there. The hunger is gone because the paycheck's there now at this point. Isaiah Ford should have been the most hungry guy on this squad because you got bounced around on practice squad after practice squad. You got to come in and prove something. What you proved to me on Sunday is that I can't trust you when I need you the most. I can't trust that you're going to catch these passes for my young quarterback to keep his confidence up so we can get the continue our motivation and our momentum. You know what I mean? And that none of that. I'd rather start with a bunch of young kids with one alpha in the room and Devontae Parker, and I think we'll be that much better. That's my opinion. Why? Go ahead.
Isaiah Ford made me so upset Sunday, them balls he was dropping.
And I'm not going to put it better at his feet than Mac Hollins fumbling the ball. Like, come on, man. Like, you got one job. You really got one job. Catch, secure the catch, and if you got to get down, get down. I don't care if you don't get down after, but get me the first down. I don't care if they weren't able to do anything else but secure first downs. That's better than ball hitting you clearly with two hands on it and you can't secure it. That, to me, does not at any point tell me that you are who you're supposed to be, which is an NFL caliber wide receiver. No, but that means I don't care.
Ball game, but did you see the way he was trying to catch those balls?
Yeah.
He didn't even try with his hands. It was all body
catches. Yes. First thing they teach you, listen, I mean, when I started with youth ball, I used to make all of my wide receivers stand in line. I had 3 quarterbacks, and I had them throwing the ball outside, over their head, down beneath their feet, and over to the left. Left, right, over the head, down, and center. 5 different catches. They couldn't catch any of them. They couldn't leave practice. Their parents knew it. They couldn't leave practice until they did all 5. And they caught all 5 successfully.
Hey, but y'all, I gotta go to work, but I'm gonna continue watching on my phone.
I don't understand that, man. I don't understand how you get to a point where you're in the highest level of the game and you're trying to still make body catches. No, we don't do that.
Nope.
So, stay the course, man.
That's what kills me. The only person that uses his damn hands to catch the ball is Devontae Parker on the team.
Yeah, exactly. Jakeem Grant, which is crazy to me because I watched that Texas Tech, man. I watched him play at Texas Tech, and he used to catch everything with his hands.
Did you guys hear the report last week that you know who Brian Flores originally wanted as his offensive coordinator? Cliff Kingsbury.
You imagine what this would have looked like, bro?
Yeah, I'll bring it up for you guys. I'll bring it up.
Oh my God.
Imagine that, though. Imagine our offense and Cliff Kingsbury is
spread
like,
heaven, man. Spread heaven.
Oh my God. Yeah, but I agree with you, dude. Like, it's just, I don't know. People.
I'm hungry too, bro. I'm hungry, man. I think this.
Okay,
this
here's
team
the thing.
deserves...
It's Cap's brought this up. Cap's even written it before and put it on screen while people have been talking. It's a microwave mentality, man.
Yeah.
Like, these people, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. There's just no patience, man. Like
that instant gratification thing.
Yeah, but what's the instant gratification going to be? We're going to get Deshaun Watson and be out in the first round for like 3 straight years.
Yeah,
and then we got to rebuild everything.
No, I agree, but it's that 2-minute mentality. I'm sorry. I want to last a while. I want to be going to Super Bowls for multiple years.
I want it to be a situation where when teams see us on a roster, they say, see us on their schedule, they say, damn.
And do you realize how hard of a schedule we had this year?
And it ain't easier next year. It's not much easier. If you look at the teams I don't think so. Everybody getting better, bro.
Here's what I was talking about. Again, y'all already saw Chris Coughlin ended up being right about Chan Gailey. So here you go. As someone recently reminded me, when Flores came to Miami, there was a rumor he tried to hire Cliff Kingsbury as OC. That makes me wonder, to paraphrase the recent words of Trent Dilfer, Tua is perhaps the best 4 verts QB to ever come out of college.
Mm-hmm. That's what you see predominantly when
and then he talked about down here, he said Graham Harrell and David Ra. And then he goes, this makes me wonder about Jim Holster, who Dilfer once said he's a superstar football coach.
Yeah.
So, but this is the key. Like that tells you what Flores' vision might want to be for that offense. That I told y'all. What did I tell y'all? He didn't like the tempo, and he was sick of the dink and dunk.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you,
what I'm saying.
Let me tell you this, bro. From a defensive perspective, the most difficult defense to defend against is spread offense.
Yep.
You have to, because there's no real disguising of your pressures. There's no real disguising of your coverages. It is pretty much what it is, and you force teams at that point.
Show their hand.
And you force them to play. That's bully ball. You force them to play something they're not comfortable in.
Okay, so ball game. Your coach, your Flores, you've seen me put him up, all right? Mm-hmm. You've seen me. I know you've seen me put up, and you've seen them in the no huddle up tempo numbers, but specifically the no huddle spread numbers for Tua in empty sets. Okay, 102 passer rating. Like, he has a completion percentage like over 80%.
Right.
How much is that going to piss you off when you see how successful that kid is in that, and then you got this Grandpa Gailey out here putting him under center, condensed 12-man, 13-man personnels where guys aren't split wide, they're split tight, or they're stacked tight. You know what I mean? That's going to piss you off, man. You're going to be like, what do you do? You're not – I keep going back to this. Even when you go to the RPO, they kept telling me, Greer, we hired an RPO genius. Daniel Jeremiah said on the Move the Sticks podcast last year, right? A GM told him that their scouting department, and the NFL GM told him that their scouting department basically came to the conclusion Tua is the best RPO quarterback they've ever seen. And we're running the RPO 2 or 3 times max a game. Max.
You get you a spread look in there. You can run it pretty much all game long.
Ball game. We just gave you up-tempo, no huddle, and RPO. We gave you 3 options to utilize with this kid, and you didn't pick any one of them, bro.
Yeah.
And what's another thing me and you pointed out privately, ball game? What did Zach Taylor do over in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow that Gailey didn't do with Tua? That a lot of smart coordinators or coaches do with rookie quarterbacks. Ball game, what did he do?
Condensed it.
No, he installed LSU plays.
Oh,
that he was familiar with, right?
Yeah,
we talked, me and you and Richmond talked about this, right?
Yeah,
we didn't do that. We brought in plays. Tua said, that looks similar to something we ran out of Bama, but we did not bring anything out of the Bama playbook. And what even compounds that further, ball game, next to the Patriots, name a closer organization with Alabama right now.
Can't.
Like, what's going on here, bro? Like, it's like, bro, no wonder Flores said, get your old ass out of my house right now. Seriously, bro.
I tried defending him, man. I told you all season long I felt like Chan was old school to the point where he had to get a feel of what the defense was doing against him, and then in the third quarters when they turned it up a little bit. But to me now at this point, I retracted that in one of our conversations off camera, and I just said really
ball game.
I think the game really has moved past him.
Oh yeah, he's archaic, right?
But with that being said, Ed, you guys
hold on a sec. You can have it right after this. I just got to add this point. Ball game. We literally just saw when it got tough. What was Chan's answer? Let's see how many different ways I can run a screen.
Yeah.
Look, that was his answer. That was the innovation. That was his 2021 innovation. How many ways can I try and beat this team with a screen? Literally.
I don't like laughing about it, man. But I have to laugh about it so that I don't get upset about it anymore.
Dabble's half his age and was doing stuff in the backfield that me and you were like, wow, that's impressive, and was making Chan look like a freaking amateur. Anyways, Cap, go ahead, bro. It's all you, Cap. Go.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, man. Yeah, no. I agree with you, man. I feel like it was more a Fitzpatrick deal more than ever now.
Oh yeah. Jan was definitely keyed in and to the familiar. I mean, but that's the thing though, right? To be a good coordinator, you have to be able to translate your vision over to both or anyone in that room, in that quarterback room, not just one guy that you had a previous relationship with. And that's what
Amen.
That's what the guy last year failed to do, and that's what Chan obviously at this point now he should have just stayed at home and just left the game to be, because I don't think without Godsey or without the the new age additions to the things that he's familiar with, Tua might have regressed. But I'm gonna kind of leave that there. I don't need me to. Hey, Chan, thank you for your time. We appreciate your foundation you gave us. But
enjoy retirement.
Yeah, but is he taking his playbook with him? That's what I want to know. Is he moving and taking the playbook?
It don't matter, bro. It don't matter what he gave us in that playbook is nothing that's going to befuddle any real dialed in defensive team. Now, if you look at the all 22 and you look at the route combinations that our guys were running, there wasn't anything complex in there. It looked more high schoolish in the routes that they were running than what I would see for route combinations at the NFL level. You know what I mean?
Ball game. How many
all
times?
Levels concepts, bro.
Yeah, how many times did we even see rub routes? Ball game.
Barely ever.
Hey,
but it was all
game,
levels
you're an old
concepts.
head like me. You're an old head like me. You remember the days of Jim Kelly with the K-gun hurry-up offense?
Yes, sir, I do.
We hated seeing that.
Because it created so much confusion for the defense. There was always multiple rub routes. There was always motion. There was always these complex routes that developed at all three levels. And that's what you need in the NFL. You need levels. I mean, you need route combinations that are going to befuddle the defense, and his offense had none of that. That's why even though our guys couldn't separate naturally for themselves, his route combinations didn't help them at all.
You know, the only thing we have that goes back to those great teams is we have our Andre Reed with Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
We don't have the speed guy that's reliable on the other side like they had with Don Beebe.
Yeah.
And then you had Thurman Thomas, who could go out and run routes like a receiver and run the ball.
Yeah. You're right. I think the focus right now as a fan base should be make sure the energy is flowing towards consistency and them staying the course. I don't believe for one instance that Flores and Greer, although he has to make the call to see exactly what it would cost for them to do that, just because I don't think he would be a good GM if he didn't. But I don't think they're looking to upset any of the progress that this kid has made and that we've pretty much brought in for ourselves.
Hey, I don't know if you heard what I said earlier. Like I said, I am not for it, but if I were to do it, it would have to be a restructured deal right off the bat.
Yeah.
Still doesn't make any sense.
And at best, they would get my 18th pick, a first round next year, and maybe a second, because I can take that number 3 pick and turn it and get my first round pick back next year without dropping too far. That would be best.
I'm not touching it. Because that to me says then at that point that fuck the process. Let's just go now.
No, I understand.
We're going back to doing the very same things we were doing previously in all the other regimes.
I understand. That's why I said I'm not saying, but I'm saying at best that would be my best offer, and I would have to have a deal where, like I said, I restructure it to where I'm getting a Brady deal out of it by the time it's said and done.
They're gonna ask for so much for him though. It's just, and I'm hoping, and I know without a shadow of a doubt, our guys won't fall for it. Man, we robbed them for Tunsil.
Well, ball game. You also have, think of it. They just hired the new executive that they hired, Nick Cassio. Yeah. From New England. Unless he gets a king's ransom,
ain't going nowhere.
Because he's always going to be attached to this, and he might not ever get another job if they don't come out on the winning end of this one.
Right.
So there's a lot of, the guy just got hired. Like, I think they're going to try and work it out internally, or Benjamin Albright of saying 3 firsts, 3 seconds, and a roster player, and that roster player has to be significant. I'm telling you, the team that makes sense, there's 2 teams that make sense. One is a team that everyone thinks we must be because, guys, we're not in the NFC least. We're in the AFC East where 10 wins doesn't even get you a playoff berth. The Washington Redskins make sense because they can give up someone on the defense. They have a lot of high draft pick players on the defensive line. They can give up that. They got the 19th pick. They can give up more capital. And the other team that makes sense is San Francisco because he grew up a 49ers fan. They have the 12th pick. They can give up they could give up Deebo Samuel, the 12th pick, 2 more firsts and 2 seconds. And guess what? They actually wouldn't be hurt because they got Brandon Ayuk last year. They still got Kittle.
They can be right back where they can get back there.
Yeah.
Because they're built. The only thing hurt them was the injuries. Yeah, the only thing hurt them was the injuries.
Exactly, right? And they can move off. They can even throw Jimmy G in there, too. They can give you Deebo and Jimmy G. And they alleviate the cap. And because this is what it is. This is a deal for a team in a weak division like the Redskins, where you can have a solid defense like they do, and then they got McLaurin and Antonio Gibson, and then you add that, and you could win that division consistently. Right. Or a team that needs one final piece like the 49ers.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what this deal is for.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And it won't hurt the 49ers.
if Watson really wanted to make a statement, he should have sat out this year because of COVID and not signed the contract.
I got to say,
He
this
should
ball
have
game,
sat out on them.
how scary would Watson be with Kyle Shanahan?
Oh, God.
Oh, and Kittle and Aya.
Hey,
Bro, at least we don't got to deal with it. That's
but
all
exactly. That's what I was just about to say. He'd be in the NFC, so we wouldn't have to deal with it.
Damn. That would be a fun team to watch.
Yes.
As long as he doesn't end up in New England, I'd be happy.
See? That's what you got to worry about, too. Thanks for bringing it up, Todd. I thought about that. Dude, Belichick, he could be willing to part with a bunch of stuff because he has the Casero tie.
Mm-hmm.
He could be willing to part with a bunch of stuff because there's a New England tie to the front office.
We have to be willing to accept the fact that at this point now, Bill is a wild card. So, and anything Belichick do, he gonna do for the greater good of New England. So, I mean, if he, yeah, I can see him doing it, man. Because he's never experienced this, having a quarterback, like having a year where his quarterback wasn't the guy in charge of that offense. And the defense still did pretty decent this season, but Cam, you know what I'm saying, going from Brady to Cam, you know what I mean, that was like 2 or 3 steps back for them. So he could possibly be willing to do something like that. It just depends. Yeah.
Hey, Tay, keep that same energy when we don't trade for Deshaun and we go to AFC championships and Super Bowl bursts with Tua Tagovailoa. Holla at your boy. All right? Because we ain't making that trade. And this trade, guys, this trade can't even happen until March 17th.
Yeah.
Do you know how many other teams can get involved with more or offer more than us by March 17th? And, again, I go back to San Francisco. If they pick up the phone, Deshaun Watson's favorite team growing up was the
San Francisco
49ers.
Yeah, he just happened to have. He
gonna wave to go there. I'm telling you right now.
Oh yeah, he will wave in a heartbeat to go there.
You know, it was another team who got assets they could give up. Las Vegas.
Yep. The Raiders are actually low key loaded.
And I know they wouldn't because they're in the same division. Another team that makes a lot of sense is the Indianapolis Colts. That makes a ton of sense, but they're in the same division, so they would rape them.
Especially after the Colts
capital-wise.
just said, "Screw you."
Yeah. So they would take him to the bank.
What do you think they're gonna do, man, at quarterback?
Who?
Because I heard the reports that Wentz now at this point is willing to come back to the table.
Jalen Hurts is.
Yeah.
And they all realize that, and they're like, "All right, Carson, we're sorry. We'll go to church with you on Sunday now, kid."
But the Colts need a quarterback. This gotta be pretty much it for.
If I was Carson, I would ask for it. I would ask out.
Yeah. If they willing to, I would have a hard time working for someone.
Have you ever seen a quarterback push the ball as hard as Phillip was yesterday?
It looked painful yesterday, right?
Bro,
did it not?
Ball game. The worst thing that happened for him was McDermott calling that timeout when he made that sideline throw with like 11 seconds left, because I'm like, this guy ain't making that throw again now because they're just going to sit on the boundary with that arm. And then the next 2 throws are out of bounds and they lose the game.
Yep.
Like, he just does that guy. Like, I thought Breeze was
watching it, bro.
Buddy, I thought Breeze is painful to watch him push the ball. Phillip Rivers is you're done, bud. It's shot.
Can you believe they didn't call that a fumble?
Oh, that was a fumble on Pascal.
Yeah.
That was a fumble. Yeah.
Yeah, but in all actuality, the game kind of worked itself out to the point where all they had left was 4 seconds, and you got to rely on Phillip with that weak arm to get it. So the team that was supposed to win still won. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yo, I gotta ask you guys a real question.
I hate it, but it is what it is.
Do you think they're gonna go? Do you think we're gonna have a KC Buffalo AFC Championship?
Oh God.
Well, we're looking at Derrick Henry with 10 rushes for only 18 yards right now. And Baltimore is moving the ball, so yeah.
But what's Buffalo's Achilles heel? They haven't been able to stop a running game all year.
Yeah, but ain't nobody been able to stop that offense of theirs either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got Diggs. It's like every catch Diggs made yesterday, he was going for upwards of 20 to 30 yards. You know what I mean? They shut him out in the first half, but the second half, he was unstoppable.
But ball game, what's the best way to slow him down is with the running game and keep him on the sideline.
Who are we talking about right now?
I'm saying if Tennessee were to have to go up against Buffalo, run the ball and keep Allen on the sideline.
Yeah. If Derrick Henry can get it done.
Yeah. It's another huge fact. I just hope it doesn't happen, man, because I hate the Bills, man.
Oh, I know. So do I.
And it was crazy in the beginning of the offseason. I remember we were saying the Bills was going to be legit, that the Bills was the only team that we had to worry about. And they called us idiots. Said we didn't know what we were talking about. Stephon Diggs was overrated. Yeah. And everything came to light. Jesus Christ.
Now everyone's, I wish we traded for Stephon Diggs, or should we get a Stephon Diggs for Tua Tagovailoa? Like, you know, I'm like, oh my God.
There's receipts out there where Reason flat out said Diggs is the perfect receiver for Allen.
Yeah, I literally did say that. Radius. I think I got called a Buffalo Bills fan.
Have you ever seen a trade that was so damn equal? I mean, it wasn't equal.
You know?
So perfect.
Like, man, Justin Jefferson, like, wow. Think of how the Eagles feel taking Jalen Reagor right before Justin Jefferson. Ouch. And, Pete, you got to fire Peterson. That's what you got to do. Because Jalen Hurts is Pupella. I could have told him that, and he proved he was. And now you wasted a pick where you could have added another weapon. Man, if I'm Carson, I'd say trade my ass, man. Like, just trade me out of the city.
Hey, that would be an interesting trade. Carson, throw him in the deal for Watson and get it over with.
And just swap? Like, in terms of swap cities for the quarterbacks?
Picks and call it a day.
Yeah. Well, you know what I said, right? I feel that if the Jets are smart, you give the 2nd, the 27th, and Sam Darnold.
But I don't see him doing that because I wouldn't see him dropping his no trade clause for that dumpster fire either.
But the thing is, they could basically, you could tamper because ball game will tell you tampering happens all the time. Hey, Deshaun, if we have a trade that they're willing to accept, who do you want as the coach? Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying, because I guarantee Deshaun Watson has a friend that plays for the New York Jets. Okay.
You know what I hate more than anything? I hate that when the Bills drafted Allen after his first season and he went 5-7, I said this kid is gonna get better every season, and I was laughed at. People told me, "Man, you crazy them up, man. This kid is horrible." I said, "Listen, you can't teach that arm strength that boy has." Yeah. And I said, but accuracy, if he works at it, it will come. I said, and if you give him a receiver, he'll prove it. I guarantee. And I hate that I was right because we got to deal with this shit.
Well, I think you know why they went out and invested big on Stephon Diggs? Because they saw the flashes of what could be with John Brown.
That too.
And they're like, let's be honest, John Brown is like such a solid number 2, like such a solid. He already proved he could be a number 1, right? But they said if we go get a dynamic guy, what could he do with a dynamic guy after he showed us what he could do? Because you clearly noticed the growth when John Brown got there too, right? So they probably said, what if we had a dynamic guy? And look at how much they've invested in the running back. They drafted Devin Singletary and Zach Moss back-to-back years.
But look at what they did do also for him.
And the offensive line.
They gave him his own Julian Edelman and Cole Beasley.
Yep.
Who is always
he got him from Dallas,
open.
Right? Where was he?
Always open. That boy is always open. He came from Dallas.
Yeah, he's from Dallas. Dallas. And he was that for Romo and Dak. He was the exact same thing.
Yeah, hey, always open.
And their 4th receiver, McKenzie.
You know what?
Number 2.
You know what? Ball game.
Yeah, man.
I feel. You know what I feel? I feel like that's what Wilson is.
Yeah.
That's what we were missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Wilson would have got. That's our best separator on the team, and we didn't have him. Like DVP can separate, but he strictly depends on the crispness of his routes.
Right.
I mean, Albert Wilson is just natural.
What we didn't have also was a guy that was smart enough to actually be able to sit down and find the soft spots in the zone past the line of scrimmage. I mean, past the yardage that we needed, and then be able to catch it and get loose. And that's Albert. He's perfect. He's always been able to find the soft spots in the zone or beat the man coverage, catch it, and then get the yak afterwards. You know what I mean? And we just didn't have that. So yeah, the guy's on our roster, obviously, but he just didn't play this year. I'm so anxious to see what it looks like when he comes back. You know what I mean? He got to be motivated. I hope he is. Right?
See, here's my thing, two ball games. Sticking with the Watson thing for a sec. You know, you saw the media availabilities. You saw how Greer stated multiple times emphatically that Tua is the starter for 2021.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it would have to for them to even discuss Watson, it would have to make a ton of sense for us. Like in terms of financially, and I said this earlier before you joined ball game. One thing people got to learn last year is we realized if you watch how the draft played out, you realize how much they actually value their draft capital in terms of, I put out the report. I was told that Tristan Wirfs, they were in play for Tristan Wirfs and trying to move up, but right. I told you this, right? That the San Francisco didn't want to move off Javon Kinlaw, and we didn't want to make it too rich. Right? They could have packaged the 30th or the 39th and said, yo, here we go. Oh, it was the 26th at the time, right? We had to trade back. We had to trade it back. They could have given them an offer they couldn't refuse, but they said, you know what? We're not going to overpay, okay? Let's keep going, right? Look at safety stop, running back start going off the board. They don't move up from 56. They say, you know what? If we lose out on JK, we still really like Raekwon Davis. We got him valued really high. We'll go that route. Boom. Safety start going, including their guy, Ashton Davis. They don't even try to move up for any of those safeties. And they say, you know what? We still like what Brandon Jones can develop into in a year or two. So that's what and they didn't move up. Think about it, ball game. They didn't move up in the draft until Kinley, who I had in my top 100, slid out of the top 100, and it was a cost-effective move because they didn't spend a lot to move up for him. And then they saw the running backs going. What did they do? They gave up minimal capital from Matt Breida, and they got anything better available than day 3. You see where I'm going with this? Like, they were only spending minimal capital when they wanted to spend draft capital. That's why I don't see them ponying up. Listen, we all mocked Bill O'Brien for what we got for Laramie Tunsil. You think they're going to give 3 firsts, 3 seconds, and Tua Tagovailoa and be mocked by the rest of the league and even our own fan base if, and let's be honest, when we don't win a Super Bowl after that trade?
No, I don't do that.
No, they're not dumb.
No.
Can I ask you another question too, Reason? To
Go ahead, brother.
What you said. With what happened last year, a lot of things happened before, especially how we got screwed over the Cesar Ruiz pick, because the Saints, because everybody knew, including yourself, you were one of the first people that said that Cesar Ruiz at 26 is a lock. And basically everybody knew on board, and that's how the Saints were able to jump ahead of us. Do you see the Dolphins learning their lesson from last year? And
they won't be showing their hand.
Yeah, they won't say that, but do you think they'll be a little bit more aggressive? To be honest, we did show our hand.
Oh, do I think they'll be more aggressive in the draft?
They'll be more aggressive for sure.
Okay, because we did show our hand because I ain't gonna lie, it's our fault. We basically are pushing for Najee at 18. So everybody know we need a running back, and I feel like that we're not gonna get Najee at 18 because everybody know that we need a damn good.
Listen, that's everybody else is saying that. You haven't heard Greer or Flores saying anything about getting a running back at 18. That's what the fan base is saying. The fan base pushed some of the picks last year, and now Tua. I always go back to this.
Okay.
If he hadn't been healthy, we wouldn't have even seen him.
Yeah, that's true.
He wouldn't even be here. You feel me? So we'd have been going with QB option number 2, which would have probably been Burrow at the time, right? We'd had to move up or something to go get him. But it is by the grace of God that he fell to us. And I'm happy at this point now with the fact that he did, because I see the promise, right? But there's no way going into this second draft that they have coming, right, with them to align together now, that they're going to give any indication as to where we're going. But you got to believe, without a shadow of a doubt, it will be best player available at any pick that they choose. And it will be a player that we know, without a shadow of a doubt, has the ability to come in and impact us positively from day one.
Hey,
So
they only
they're
gave
going to
away
vet.
one thing.
Yeah,
Huh?
offensive
When
line.
Flores said
Offensive
we needed
line.
weapons.
Yeah.
No.
Weapons.
He gave
but
out
that's-
on the media availability. He gave away offensive line when he said at the end of the day, at the end of his spiel, he said, we're happy with the progress, but we're not happy with where it's at. It needs to get better. That was where we were like, okay, Sewell probably.
But see, you can do it. But see, we can also
we need
do
a
that.
receiver. We got so many holes.
Yeah,
right?
but you can also get better in free agency too.
Yeah, that's why he said it before free agency and the draft. Now, if he would have said that after free agency and we didn't sign a tackle, then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
He's letting you know that either free agency or draft, we're going to be upgraded.
We're both for it, yeah.
So you guys say that they will be aggressive. You think not because we don't know what they'll do. But if it was you guys would be more aggressive.
Listen, you know what I'm going to tell you, J Love? Last year was the off season of defense, right? With some offense, to some necessity offensive picks sprinkled in, right? You know what this is? This is this off season where you can't spell off season without the off in offense. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is, all right? That's what
heavy
this season
defense.
is.
Now it's gonna be heavy offense,
and
there aren't a lot of teams. There aren't a lot of teams that can actually block us from getting what we really need, if you think about it. Yeah. But we just got to be. They have to be really crafty in how they go out and acquire the pieces and free agents that they're targeting. Like for me, that right tackle spot, I'd do it there because I think Cincinnati might even try to jump into the mix to go get the kid too.
But here's my thing: can you afford to pay Taylor Moton top tackle money when you have, like I said, you got $37.5 million? You got to pay Needham. Do you want to bring a Landon Roberts back? Camus Grugier-Hill, do you want to bring him back? Obviously, I don't think they're bringing Breda back. And you got to deal with, and you also got to deal with restructuring X's money.
And Jerome gonna be, you're gonna have to deal with trying to figure out how to slide Jerome in there at some point too.
So you guys
take it over for a sec. Ball game. I just gotta go get my daughter. All right.
All right. Yep.
Hey, ball game.
Man.
With thank you for bringing up the Needleman. So do you think McCain is out?
No. Bobby's still under contract, so Bobby's good. What you got to do at Bobby's position is get depth. You can get depth at that position through the draft. Fredulum. Obviously, we saw that's not going to be the move, right, going long term. So, and he was just a stop. He was just a guy that we brought in for his special teams abilities, right? He's better. He was more of a special teams player for us instead of an actual secondary guy. So, you can address that in the draft as well. Get a young guy to play behind Bobby for a year, and then you can transition. The amount of plays that you saw Brandon Jones making. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When he played for Rowe and things of that nature tells me that we're already good at strong safety. Rowe got one more season. Bobby can have another season. You just need a guy behind McCain at this point so they can learn. So that guy can learn and you know what I'm saying, and be ready to transition and take over that spot. And then you'd have your youth there with Jones and the new kid, you know what I'm saying, in the years to follow. The biggest thing right now is that offensively, really, it is no secret that we don't have any natural separators at wide receiver. We still need to figure out a depth body for competition-wise for Dieter at center, because I do believe that Dieter is going to be the center. You know what I mean? That's just my personal thing. I think that they set him to have him watch and learn officially, and he'll get somebody to compete with for that center spot next year. I mean, and they'll bring somebody in either through free agency or in the draft, and they'll compete for it. But Karras is probably out. I was against bringing Flowers back because I do feel like Kennelly and Hunt moving inside the guard gives us more run.
Get a buck,
yeah. Give us more bang for the buck with the young guys because they just showed me more than Flowers did. But I don't see how we can get off of his contract right now with him having guaranteed
dead cap.
Yeah, guaranteed. So he's kind of it's a bad deal. So we kind of stuck with Eric Flowers, and relegating him to a backup position is probably not going to be.
I heard something you said, ball game, that got me thinking.
Yeah.
They're saying Brevin Jordan might be a 4th round pick.
That's true.
Injury.
Yeah.
Would you take that knowing that Gesicki's coming up on a contract?
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing for me, right? So it will be based on two big things right now. One, Mike Gesicki proving and showing to me that he's committed to refining his craft and being better at route running, right? Because that's what kills a lot of what Mike Gesicki can be is all predicated off of what he hasn't done yet to be considered a true 100% professional. His route running and his willingness to catch the tough balls in traffic, right? He's only good at one route right now at this point, which is a seam route, right? And if it's wide open, you know what I mean? Because you haven't really seen him exhibit any other toughness or making any other catches that the elite tight ends make. So he had to show me that. Otherwise, I'm gonna bring in a true pass catcher and a guy that's committed to blocking at that position.
Thing.
Yeah, huh?
When people don't understand, when you roll your routes out at the end and you don't,
you just make it that much easier for the defense.
All the separation.
Yes, exactly. So I'm not at any point against bringing in a young guy that I know. Oh yeah, Brevin Jordan has some issues. He has some injury issues, but he's a way better route runner, and he'll make the tough catch.
Yep.
So I'm not opposed to that at all. My thing is, when you look at our roster the way it's structured right now, I'm going out to specifically get guys that I know have proven on tape that they do the things that the guys that we currently have don't, right? Guys that can separate naturally on their own, guys that don't have a problem going over the middle, catching the tough catches and pulling them in while getting hit, you know what I mean? And a lot of these receivers in this draft do that. You see what I'm saying? And for me, I don't think I'm losing anything by bringing in younger guys to replace these guys that we have, because the guys that we have who've had 2 or 3 years in the league haven't proven to me that they've committed to doing it. So, it's a process, plus familiarity is key too. So as many of those, I am saying bring them all in, but if I can get one guy off of that Alabama clique that Tua was comfortable with and he had success with, then I'm going to do that. Or I'm going to bring in a guy as similar to that as possible, guys that are accustomed to being in the RPO offense, guys that understand the nuances of what that requires when they're running those slants and what their landmarks are. A lot of our guys don't come from, a lot of the guys that we have currently on the roster right now didn't come from those type of offenses. So teaching them that is basically trying to reprogram what they've already become comfortable with and asking them to do it when it's not natural to them. Like Ford never was asked to do any of that type of stuff, which is probably a primary reason why Chan, who they said was an RPO guy, but he never exhibited it because I don't think he felt comfortable with the guys that we had asking him to do it. Like, there's a nuance to running a slant. Although the slant is probably the easiest route to throw for a quarterback, it's not the easiest route to run for a wide receiver because you're asking that guy, admittedly, to run into traffic, to catch that ball in between beating the corner and getting the corner turned, get his hips turned so that you can get inside of him and then catching it before you actually get hit by the linebacker that's dropping in coverage into that space. So that's not something that a lot of guys are willing to do. I haven't seen a lot of receivers actually be able to leave college and do that successfully in the NFL. It takes a dog to be able to do that when you think about it. A dog mentality, an alpha mentality to say, I'm going to beat this guy and I'm going to beat you inside too. And I'm going to make this catch.
See me with this draft coming up with how it's becoming really deep with everybody leaving college this year.
Yeah.
I would be, if I were Miami and God forbid, number 2 off the board, they go with the tackle. With the Jets.
Yeah.
I would start doing a trade down to get as many assets in the second and third round as I could.
Well, the thing for me, the only team right now that I think without a shadow of a doubt that we're willing to move up to number 3 to get something that they need is, to me, the Panthers. So if the Panthers at that point, right? If they need a quarterback, if they're willing to come off of, they got to sign him though. So they signed Moton, right? Trade him to us. I'm good with it, right? Because I think he'll give them a more friendly deal, to stay in place than it would be. I don't know. I mean, but the Panthers really, to me, are the only team that actually have a chance at moving up to 3 because they need a quarterback.
Hey, they're saying right now Atlanta, with the way they're talking about, might be moving off of Ryan, might be making more teams want to come up for that quarterback.
Yeah, but where are they? Where are they at? 5?
Atlanta's number 4 right behind us.
4 right behind us. Yeah, but if they're gonna need a quarterback too.
That's what I'm saying. But here's the thing.
Here's the kicker.
Say a San Francisco, Carolina. There's a couple teams that are going to be needing quarterbacks.
Right.
If they see Atlanta is going to get one, one of the top 3 went. Of course, Lawrence is gone. One of the top 3 is going to Atlanta. We better get up there real quick because there's not going to be anybody.
That's why it's Carolina, because Carolina in the same division with them. Carolina, the Panthers aren't going to want Atlanta getting a step ahead of them. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why the Panthers are the only team right now I think is a logical choice to try to move up past number 4 where Atlanta sits to get to the 3 spot. So they could give us the first round this year, the first round next year, a second this year, and a 4th, which is what, if you look at based on the numbers or what that pick costs, that's what it's going to cost.
And then take away the 4th, and you can add in the tackle if you want.
Yeah, exactly. So you eliminate the tackle, eliminate the pick, and take the player.
Yep.
And then you're good.
What pick do they have?
They're at 8.
Oh, that's perfect.
And you're still in the 10. You're still in the top 10, and you still got a plethora of players that are going to be available there. Because if you miss on Smith, Waddle is still there. I don't like Chase. I don't like Chase for us as a wide receiver option.
Oh, I don't either.
But and I think picking Rondale Moore would be wrong there at that pick. I think that's a little too rich for him. But there's still a lot of players, bro. Like a lot of things that we could do with that. You could even move back 2 more spots to 10 and stay in the top 10 and get even more picks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right there is a perfect spot to move back again.
Right.
For somebody who, say, a Micah Parsons.
Parsons, yeah, exactly. So
you get a bunch more picks, but see, if you get a good amount of draft picks this year, that's also going to save you money with the salary cap dropping.
Yep, that's true.
So my next question, ball game. Everybody knows that we need help on offense. Who do you think in the offseason, whether it's free agency or the draft, like that's the hypothetical, that can help this defense be better?
The defense?
Yeah, the defense.
Well, to be honest with you, the only pieces I think we need upgrades at on defense are in the middle linebacker, and we don't have a true nose tackle. We don't have a true zero tech. So and they don't. Unfortunately, God doesn't make but so many of those. So I don't think we can address the nose tackle position even in free agency unless Michael Pierce. Yeah, unless he's available, and that's only going to be for a short gap stop, right? Until maybe somehow or another the gods smile on us and we can get a trade done and get another pick to actually be able to grab a Tyler Shelvin. I mean, that kid fits the perfect mold of what we need for that zero tech at the nose.
And it's not just him as a zero tech stopping the run.
He actually enough to push for the pass rush.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've seen him make an interception, dropping back in the coverage.
I mean, he's an athlete. He's a freak of nature. He's what I consider to be a superhuman.
You know who he reminds me of?
They don't make him like that often. You don't come.
You know who he reminds me of is Vince Wilfork.
That's what I've been saying all along, man. He's just a little taller than Vince, but you know what I mean. But at 346 pounds with the athleticism that kid has. But here's the thing that works in our favor. There's only a handful of 3-4 teams in the league right now.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why he's on the board for us, but he's not in that first and second round because I believe he'll be there in the third round too. Unless
No,
he will. When you think about
even if he kills the combine?
Well, listen, bro. It's a lot of teams based off of what they truly need, and most of these teams have schematically, and they have their guy already in place. You see what I'm saying? We're the only ones right now that don't truly have that true zero tech. Like, and then I don't mind. I'd spend that second round to get him if I thought he'd be gone, but I think he'll still be there. I think he'll still be there, right? Just like Raekwon was still there for us because schematically, a lot of teams didn't have a need for him the way we did, but he was there for us and he fell to us, right? And the draft is really, dude, when you look at it, if you go back and you look at every team and what they truly need schematically, they follow that. A lot of teams don't make a whole lot of out the window jumps at a player. They follow it based on their schemes. So that's what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be breaking down legitimately what teams need so that I can see how we stack up in those rounds for what we need and how we can get it. Like, truly, I don't know. I haven't looked at the middle linebacker position for free agency yet, but I'd imagine that most of the guys are old.
Yeah, Levante's the best one. He's 31.
Yeah, he's 31. You see what I'm saying? So that doesn't really fit us. That doesn't work for us. Plus, at 31, he's going to be looking for his retirement deal.
Yep, last contract, and he's still a 100 tackle guy, so he deems it.
Yeah, right.
See, Ballgame, that's why I don't just go for a running back in the first 2 rounds.
Nah. Dude, here's a kicker. Etienne and Harris are the names. Yes, they are the names, and they were at 2 of the top premier programs. But the other guys, Sermon, the Williams kid, I mean, I'm saying all these other guys had great productivity at their respective colleges. So running back to me is unfortunately a devalued position in the NFL, but there's a plethora of good ones that will be available in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds.
Yep.
Because the only reason Harris and to me personally, the only reason Harris and Etienne will probably go high is just because of where they played at and what they did there. Because you play in the SEC and you can put up those numbers that says dog.
Yeah.
Bonafide, ready to get it type of thing. But these other guys played against SEC teams, played quality opponents in the ACC and in the Big Ten. You know what I mean? And they just don't have Alabama attached to them, and they don't have Clemson attached to them, right? When you win a national championship, that changes your resume, but that doesn't change the level of productivity of these other guys. These other guys still went out there and grinded for 1,000-yard seasons. Still wanted, hell, them 2 backs over there in North Carolina, they split carries, and both of them boys still had successful seasons.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Williams and Michael Carter, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got, Sermon, right? There's a lot of good running backs out there. So
no one's talking about my boy too, Max Borghi from Washington State.
Yeah, see, there we go.
Yeah.
See now, Max Borghi in our offense could be that Thurman Thomas because he can go out and catch passes like a wide receiver.
Buddy, he's Christian McCaffrey light. That's what he is.
I'm just my thing is that we have. I'm okay with Gaskins, and I'm okay with the other kid. What's his name?
Ahmed,
right? Because those guys give you the flexibility of doing those other things in the offense, right? I'm looking for a running back that can give me essentially 18 to 20 carries a game if need be. The weather's inclement and our passing game is going to suffer as a result of that. You can give me that 3-4 yards a carry because we're still going to need that, right? We're not always going to be playing in South Florida where the weather is beautiful. You feel me? When we got to travel, I want the running game to be able to travel too and not take no hiccups. But those other guys are still there as complementary pieces to be able to complete and round out what we can attack a team with. You feel me?
Yeah, well, ball game. I would love that, but I also want one power back that I can trust.
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Yardage.
That's what I'm talking about. A real deal bell cow. That's what we're missing right now. We're missing a bell cow at running back because we already have the other complementary pieces.
Hey, last year you and me were talking about the same person I wanted from Boston College.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Max Borghi. Max Borghi yesterday announced he's returning.
He's going back to college.
So he's off. Yeah.
Oh, he stopped the board. Well,
yeah.
You're talking about Dylan.
Yeah, I wanted AJ Dillon bad.
Yeah, me and you both. And then, so I see Workman, Isaiah. I don't listen. I like Zavin Collins, and I like the fact that Zavin Collins on first and second down is going to give me everything I need in the run game. And on third down, I can deal with him being a little bit of a liability against the pass because he can get better at that, right? That's all about coaching. I believe that this coaching staff can take any of those guys that are projected, you know what I'm saying, as middle linebackers, period, and convert them into being whatever they need to be for this defense. I just like Zavin Collins because at 6'4", 260, that's a lot of guy that you got to deal with. And to me,
I like Nick Bolton over him.
His comparison is exactly to Hightower, and for me, his comparison is Hightower in New England. That guy does that guy does a lot of stuff in that defense.
Yeah. My thing with Zavin Collins is that's a little bit of a reach at 18.
Yeah.
I would actually take Rashad Bateman at 18 before I take Zavin Collins. Yeah, I like him, but my thing is, like, I'm a Nick Bolton fan. Nick Bolton reminds me of Zach Thomas. He's very instinctual. The way he shoots gaps, he's effective in the run game. I mean, back-to-back 110-plus tackle seasons at Missouri. He's the best. He's been labeled the last 2 years as the best tackler in the SEC. Nick Bolton, when he hits thunder strikes, bro, it's like Thor hitting you with his hammer, man. Like,
where would you take him?
That's the thing. I think I could get him at the top of the second, or I could get him in the 20. Like, I could come back up into the late 20s and get Bolton. I think Zavin Collins. The one difference to me is I don't think Nick Bolton plays every down like he wants to kill the other team. Like, I love that, man. He just wants to light people up. And the thing is, he's such a sure tackler too, bro. Like 100 back-to-back 110 plus tackles seasons. But my thing is, I see a motor and athleticism that Zavin Collins doesn't possess. Like, I'm not saying Zavin Collins gives up on plays. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, Zavin's got a motor. Nick Bolton's got a high octane motor. You got to put premium in that gas tank. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference. The only thing I like over Zavin more than Nick Bolton is his size. That's the only thing I like over Zavin. But
that's what I fell in love with, I guess.
There's parts to his game, but I think Nick is arguably more instinctual than him. I think read and recognition, Nick Bolton is just as good, if not maybe better. I think he's quicker to shooting gaps. I think he's got faster feet. I just think he's a better athlete. Again, my only deal is the height. But if we were going to sit here and worry about height and like size, we would have never drafted Zach Thomas.
And I read up on Nick Bolton. He's one of the better middle linebackers in coverage.
Yes, bro. Yeah. What's my issue with Parsons? Yep. He's not very good in coverage. Nick Bolton is actually very, very good coverage. And he can, it's not just like Zavin Collins. What's one of his, big plays this year in terms of, he's got 2 big interceptions. He's got that one that bobbled up, but the interception I really liked this year was when he sealed that game in overtime, where he had the interception in the end zone and he ran it back for the pick 6. But like, Nick Bolton's out here like making athletic grabs, and like I'm telling you, Nick Bolton, if I can get him at the top of the second, that's crazy value.
Where did Zavin Collins play?
Tulsa.
Yeah.
I like Zavin. Zavin's actually probably my linebacker too, but Nick Bolton is my one. And then I didn't like the year Dylan Moses had. He didn't have really great tape this year, so I'd probably put him at 3. But we're talking about true guys, right? Parsons is in the true middle.
I would put Cash Surratt over Moses right now.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Chaz is way more raw, bro. That guy's only been playing the position for 2 years. He's a quarterback, right? That's why he's got such great instincts, is because he was a quarterback, right? And then Sam Howell came and he said, all right, I'll make the conversion. And he's a sure tackler. He's super athletic, but he's far more of a project than those other guys.
Best thing he can do is stay another season.
Yeah.
As I read the other day, who's the position coach for the middle linebacker? It's usually the offensive coordinator because he's the quarterback on the field. So he could be coached up by Boyer.
I think they all can be coached up, but I'm looking at this point right now. I'm looking to try to bring a guy in that can play week 2 and on. I mean, or hell, start week 1, and I take a couple blunders from him, but I don't have to go through the whole process of redefining his role and what I need from him. And I agree with your reason. Bolton is definitely more instinctual. I just like, for me, I just
The
like
size, yeah.
6'4", 260, bro. Like,
and that is my comp. I mean, there were guys you weren't backstage, but I think Todd was, and I know Pyros and Sharif was. My comp has been Zavin Collins and Dante Hightower. My thing is, when I see Nick Bolton, I literally just see Zach Thomas with Ricky Williams dreads.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, man, this guy shoots a gap like. And it's ridiculous. Like, I'm telling you, we talked about dogs in the SEC, right? Back-to-back 110-plus tackle seasons. And, bro, he did it this year with the COVID schedule.
In the SEC.
In the SEC, bro. Like, that's ridiculous, man. Like, that is a dog, bro. Sign me up. And if I can get at the top of the second round, woo! Sorry, Najee.
I like what Reason said. If we got him, and that safety from Pittsburgh, who's going over the middle?
Paris Ford.
Oh, they're going to get licked. Whoever goes over that middle.
Yo, you know who you need to watch? I know because I put everyone on the Paris Ford radar. I think he was on my top 25, right, to watch, as was Tyler Shelvin, even though I told everyone I got a 3rd-round grade on this guy, but watch him because he's what we need. Go watch. If you go back to that show, I mentioned a bunch of guys who didn't make the list. One of the names I mentioned, and I was showing some of the guys backstage him yesterday, go watch our Darius Washington from TCU.
That's who I brought up last week.
He's Honey Badger 2.0.
Yep. He's 5'8". That's his only knock is his height.
Yeah, but
Everything
bro, he
else
don't
makes
play.
him a first-round pick.
Yeah, but he don't play like if he stops, he's dead in your tracks.
No,
bro.
what I'm saying though is everything else makes him a first-round pick.
Yeah, Travon Morig is just going higher because he's more prototypical.
Yeah, but his height is the only thing holding him back, and I would take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he's a stud, bro. He's Honey Badger, bro.
One more question because I don't want to hold up people on the backstage. I know you're ball game of reason. I know you guys haven't really did the top 25 by position. This is just a fan favorite question. In like the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round, do you see another cornerback that can come in and develop with the Dolphins? If you do know, or if you guys did do the research already, who is your favorite so far right now? Because you already.
I'd be going for. I wouldn't be going for a corner. I'd be going for safety if I'm going to be addressing my secondary. And there's going to be tons of guys. Like I just named one. Darius Washington, Paris Ford will be there. Andre Cisco from Syracuse might be sitting there. Wow. I don't think my boy Javon Holland is going to fall very high. Nasruddin from Florida State. You also got Hufanga from USC. He's a beast. That's safety. So there's going to be a lot of like decent safeties still like lurking around. When you get into the 4th and 5th round, it's just going to be all about like, what are you comfortable with and what do you need? Like, obviously we're not gonna be looking for probably another box guy because I think they filled that with Brandon Jones. So when you're looking for like single high guys like our Darius Washington, he'll be there. Paris Ford's gonna be there. Cisco can play single high. Caden Stearns from Texas. Brandon Jones' old partner. He had kind of a rough go this year, but I was really high on him coming into this year. He'll be there. He can play single high. So there's gonna be a lot of options there in the 4th and 5th. Okay. But I would go safety because here's the thing. Corner's the one position we have a ton of depth at. Safety, we have no depth. Up the middle, defensive line, we have no depth. Middle linebackers, no depth. Even edge players, depending on what you label an edge player, like a true edge or an outside linebacker, it depends on what you label. The depth can be questionable at times, right?
Yeah. Because if you think about it, we 5 deep at corner with Jones, X, Needham, Perry, and Igbenogany.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're 5 deep there, so.
All right. And this is the last question. I promise. Ball game in reason. I know we want top tier wide receivers. How do you guys feel about Amari St. Brown from USC in the 2nd round?
Amon-Ra St. Brown, ball game.
I love him. I love him. Listen.
That's your future slot guy if you want.
Oh yeah. That's my guy right there. Like,
you know what he reminds me of? if Jakeem Grant was actually good. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying like he's 5'8" or 7, but like he's a shorter guy, but he's stockily built. He's a burner, but he's got way surer hands than Jakeem. Like he can make harder contested catches than what Jakeem can make.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if that guy was 6,
and he
if that guy was
Good afternoon,
5'11",
guys.
6 foot, that guy would be in the first round, hands down, bro.
And he owns currently along with JT Daniels all the records in California for passing. So
yeah, he's a beast, man. That's a guy like a Rondell Moore or a Terrace Marshall. If he slips, you steal one of those 3 guys in the second round. Oh boy, there's a couple other guys, but those guys are at the top of my potential second round steals, man.
Hey, but now let me ask you this: what about Tutu Atwell?
I like him, but you can get him deeper, man.
Yeah.
No, I know.
You know,
I know you can get him deeper, but I'm saying, what about him like in the 5th round?
Oh, that's a steal. I don't think he's going to go in the 5th.
Yeah, I don't think he's going in the 5th because of his 40. I don't think he's going to go in the 5th.
That boy going. Hey, Reason.
I have a comment, Reason.
St. Brown 6'1" though. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know, but he doesn't look like it, bro.
Yeah, he just because that's because he's so stocky at 195.
Yeah,
though. He all muscle, bro.
I know.
He
doesn't look like it, bro, at all.
I have a comment, Reason.
Another guy too. Hold on a second. Another guy too. People might talk about that we might be able to get in the middle rounds. Go check him out, Tamarian Tony. It's Tamarian Terry. Your ball game's gonna know who he is from Florida State.
Oh, Tony from where?
What? Tamarian Terry.
Oh, Terry. Yeah, from Florida State.
Yeah. Yo, I don't know why the hell I thought Amon-Ra Brown was so short. He just looks like he plays like it, bro. Damn.
He's compact, man, but he's powerful, bro. And
buddy, he's fast. I want to see him in his 40s. He's gonna run a 4.3 something.
They're probably 4.3. I'm saying I'm calling 4.36 because that's consistently what he was running in his trials before the season last year. In the offseason, he was running 4.36.
Buddy, if he runs a 4.36, he's going in the 20s.
Yeah,
I'll take him. I'm the Dolphins.
Hey, yo, I don't know how people hate on him.
I would just want to say,
hey, no, who?
Slovis. People hate on my boy Slovis. Only reason I don't like Slovis because they forgot about my boy JT. But JT gonna blow him up that season at Georgia. Watch. Yeah. Well, not is Newman declaring.
I want to make a comment on this.
Because if Newman's not declaring, if Newman's staying back, he'll start next year for Georgia.
They're gonna have a problem.
He already declared.
Did he? Oh, that's a dumb
that's
move.
what I heard. He already declared.
That's a dumb move.
Yeah, benefits for Georgia because they ain't gonna drop off because JT gonna carry him. Watch.
Yeah.
Remember, I told you that's why I would steal him late in the draft if he was still available.
Yeah. The thing is, too. Here's another one I got to throw at you, K-Love. If Kadarius Toney sneaks into the second too, man, now you got a real problem on your hands. You go St. Brown, do you go Rondell Moore, do you go Marshall, do you go Kadarius Toney? Like, damn.
I know you're a Florida fan. Can Toney tote the rock? Also, do you see Toney can tote the rock at the running back position if need be?
No, I think he's
looking to convert it, man. Leave him at receiver.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I think that. But you know what I like about him, bro?
I have a comment on the.
Hold on a sec, bro. Just like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing: St. Brown's 6'1", but he can play the slot or the boundary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Yep. That's the same thing you can get. You know what I mean? So, like, again, we go back to it. This staff loves guys who can play, are diverse on the offense and defense. So when you can find a guy that's what I say about Bateman. Look at Bateman's size. But if you watch Bateman's kill team from the slot on slant routes, like, you know, and he's 6'1".
That's true.
You know what I mean? So, like, when you got guys who can play both, that's special because they try it with Devontae, but Devontae's not a good enough separator to consistently stay in the slot.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sharif.
Yeah, this Tennessee defense is horrible, bro.
Yo, you got a bunch of stuff going on in the background, bro.
Tennessee's defense is horrible.
How am I sounding now? Am I sounding better now?
Yeah, now you're good. Now you're good.
Okay, I want you to correct me, please. I haven't even read what has happened yet with Deshaun Watson, but I would say this: he was wearing a Incredible Hulk T-shirt. I don't know if that would mean he was a Dolphins fan, but he was wearing a Dolphins Incredible Hulk T-shirt. I can actually go back to that tweet. I just would have to go back in time. And then there was another tweet where he had on a Dolphins hat. So I don't even know what happened. I'm at work. But I can say that's what I don't know what validity that is means, but I'm not giving up Tua. I'm not giving up nothing. That's just me. I don't give a damn if you are in Miami. So that's just me. On terms of I see the name of the stream. I'm commenting on that.
And I agree with Rome Gray. Here's another guy. Why is no one? I talked about him yesterday. No one's giving Chris Olave from Ohio State any hype. Like, the kid's actually solid, man. That's another guy who's going to be sitting there in the second. Like, man, this is a deep, deep draft with receivers.
That's what I said. You can talk about 5 or 10 and still miss at least 7 or 8.
Look at this guy. Look at this face.
I just want to say one thing because
I don't even want to hear it.
No. Wait, this is for Mr. Ball. First, I want to apologize to Mr. Ball Game. I was just doing it basically to start stuff. Being a conspiracy theorist, I love Tua to death.
For what?
No, about that stuff on Friday on Larry's
Oh,
I DM Rhino during the chat. Was like, I feel dirty even doing this. Man, I just come home.
You still did it.
I still did it. And look, so I come home from church and I see the link with you. I'm like, oh my God, Deshaun Watson wants to come in. Guess what my fiance just said? But why? I like Tua. Tua's good. My wife's talking sense to me now, man. She's a Washington Redskins fan.
Did you see it? Did you see it? Hey, did you see it, Damien? This is the report.
I didn't see nothing. I just saw
Here's the report. Damien, read it. Sources say Watson could play hardball. Okay, so it started off. Let me read the first. Let me set you the context. Reports about Deshaun Watson's unhappiness with the Houston Texans are accurate, and sources close to the QB say he's still angry about the team's insensitivity to social justice, including hiring practices after the franchise failed to interview Eric Bieniemy this past week. Sources say Watson could play hardball with Texans about a trade. His new $156 million contract includes a no-trade clause, but informed in speculation from a source is that he would consider the Miami Dolphins, in which Tua Tagovailoa and additional compensation goes to Houston. Now, this should raise their eyebrow. Informed speculation from a source is that he would consider the Dolphins, in which Tua and additional compensation. Why does he care about the compensation back to this reeks of an agent? And we had Cali girl, Tyler was on earlier, my friend. And she said a report came out today. Deshaun Watson, he's been on vacation for the past week. So he hasn't even had contact with the team.
Right. So
that's why people are saying that this must be the agent trying to spin the leverage.
Indeed.
And then Todd, when I asked the question about what the leverage would be, what was what you suggested leverage might be?
Nobody wants to go coach there with an unhappy superstar.
Exactly.
Because people are turning down coaching jobs right now, coaching interviews, Damien, with them.
I agree. And these are a couple of points also within that. Now, I do remember a few years that I think was Bob McNair made an insensitive comment.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. This just goes to speak out on Kenny Stills being more of a fraud. You know, talking about our organization, how
love
Flores,
it. Take him to church, David. Take him to church.
Our owner,
the inmates don't run the asylum. That's what he said.
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Ballgame. And like Stephen Ross giving the go ahead, the baton to our black GM and black coach. So like, I don't want to hear that from Kenny Stills. This makes Kenny Stills to be a fraud. I think that this has Deshaun probably mentioned to his agent that his preferred destination is probably Miami. Yeah. But I think this is more of his agent stirring the pot than it is Deshaun Watson.
And can I throw a conspiracy theory real quick?
Go
ahead. Hey, well, how do you know? You know, because he loved the coach. He liked who's the coach there again? The guy fired.
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien, he goes, hey, I'm about to be the offensive coordinator in Miami. Why don't you get paid over there?
This is terrible. We got to go through this.
Yeah, because the best thing is this trade can't even happen till March.
Yeah, but you also have to add in with the insensitivity. They won't even give one of the top head coaching prospects supposedly of the last couple of years, Bieniemy, an interview. Wonder why with Cal.
Or how about Sula too from San Francisco? He's
No,
a minority hire.
did you guys? Okay, did you hear the report that came out today? I read it.
No.
Okay, so check this out. The Houston Texans spent quote unquote hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay, to a third party company to help them in their GM search. All right, to conduct the search, like a company that does this for teams for a living. Okay, They came back with the conclusion: you should hire Pittsburgh Steelers Vice President Omar Khan. They obviously didn't listen to that because they went off and they hired Nick Castro. So not only did they not involve Deshaun Watson, they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to outsource the job to bring in a third-party company to help them find a GM, and they didn't even listen to their recommendation, bro.
Whoa.
So how do you think, let alone Deshaun Watson, how do you think a coaching candidate's going to look at that?
Look at it, yeah.
And let me field you this, Damien. Maybe we're looking at the wrong AFC East team because the last time I checked, they just put a Patriots executive in charge, and Belichick has a 15th pick, and I'm sure there was talk last year, but they were sniffing around the idea of trying to trade up for Tua, but they were late in the 20s, and it was too rich. Wow. Think about that one. What if you want to talk about conspiracy theories?
This shit is fucking crazy.
And who do you think would probably give Castro the most? Probably Belichick.
Wow. No wonder every time on my Madden when I play a franchise mode, Deshaun Watson's always with the Patriots, like in year 4 of my franchise.
The team that needs to make the trade is his childhood team, his favorite team growing up, the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
Or the Washington Redskins, because the Redskins would dominate the NFC East with McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, and Watson on offense, and then that defense they built.
Logan Thomas ain't no slouch either.
They can afford to give away one of those defensive pieces, plus the capital that Albright said 3 firsts, 3 seconds. They give them the 19th. But look at San Francisco. They could give them Jimmy G, Deebo Samuel, the 12th pick, another first, and 2 seconds.
Yep, they can afford to give up Deebo because they just drafted.
And guess what?
A top receiver last year.
Where does their GM come? Where does the new GM in Houston come from again? New England. Where did who drafted Jimmy G?
Yeah.
Just saying.
He was a part of that.
See, that's the type of stuff that makes sense, guys, because we just named a team in the NFC least that they could just dominate with, because you don't, like, we're in a division where 10-6 didn't win you the division, let alone get you into the playoffs, okay? Like, over there, 7-9 got you into the playoffs.
The football team would be a legit Super Bowl threat in the NFC.
And so would the 49ers would go with the 49ers because they still have Ayuk.
Yep.
They still have that running game. And they still have Kittle. And they still have that defense. They would go right back to the Super Bowl, bro. And Kyle Shanahan with Deshaun Watson. Oh boy.
Man. That's dangerous.
Good God Almighty.
That's scenarios that make sense, guys. We need too much, man. Like, listen, I said this yesterday. Let's put the offensive line in Houston and Miami up against each other. Who's the best player out of all of the players? Larry Tunsil, it's not even close. Okay, not even close. All right. Now, if I give you our receiving core, or I give you our receiving core fully healthy, or I say I'll give you Houston fully healthy with Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks as your top 2. Who are you going to take? Houston. Okay, now let's put our running backs together. Yo, it was nice. It was cute.
Houston.
We had a couple 100-yard guys. That was real cute. That was adorable. But last I checked, we put all these guys together. David Johnson's the only 1,000-yard rusher out of the whole clan.
Yeah.
So I just basically said we are giving somewhat lesser of an offense. Now we're going to trade away all the capital, because here's the thing. If you're going to give away the 3rd pick or whatever, you're giving them Tua Tagovailoa, Penei Sewell, and whatever they want on top of that. So now they're going to have the fortress of an offensive line beginning to formulate. And they're going to have a quarterback who we only gave 9 games. We all know he has a high ceiling, but
Yep.
screw it. Why not, right?
Yep.
All right. So, and then here's the thing. I said the only reasonable trade I would even consider, and I cringe. It makes me cry. I don't wanna. No, thank you. But Tua, the 3rd, and a 36. Because you know what I'm doing? I'm giving you Tua for Watson. I'm giving you Penei Sewell, and I'm giving you a receiver at 36 that you can add to your core. Miss me with asking about anything else. But you know what? I still don't want to do that. But it is what it is. But that is reasonable. That is, if you want to go bunny rabbit ears, that is what reason would consider reasonable. But you know what? I want to see. Give me another year of Tua where he can actually prepare his body, where he can actually prepare with his players and his coordinators, and he's not rehabbing to get on the field. He's preparing to be on the field. I want that. Give me that.
Nothing.
And you know what? You know what? Let's revisit Watson next year after I've already drafted Penei Sewell, and my offensive line and my weapons are much better than what I have right now.
We haven't even seen this kid for a full season.
And that's if Tua doesn't work out in year 2.
And without somebody running the offense at Father Time's already passed by.
You know what? I still don't want to trade because if we suck, I want Sam Howell from UNC if we're going to move off Tua. So yeah, miss me with that right now, man. It's so rich, and like, we can't even add through free agency because of the money we're gonna have to pay the guy.
We're not a piece away. I gotta understand that Preston was developed, and Preston wasn't an injury concern. It actually proved himself.
And if Jakeem Grant could catch a football,
exactly,
and if Gesicki could run a goddamn route for the life of him.
We only need that one piece, and maybe a running back, but we need. I love DVP, but he can't stay healthy. So we need another one receiver, a slot receiver, another tight end, an offensive line. It's just too much. And that's not even counting defense. We still need a defensive tackle, the zero technique.
Hey, you can go get Deshaun, and he can throw the ball, he can catch it and score a touchdown all by himself.
Yeah.
That's what he can do. He's so amazing. He can do all of that.
And he can play zero tech. And he can play zero tech too.
I believe there's only one quarterback in the entire NFL right now that could come to the Dolphins and win.
Aaron Rodgers.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's proven it. He's proven it.
Hey, if we gave Tannehill 7, we should at least give this guy 2. Come on.
Yeah, I think we need to give him a 4-5.
Give him his whole contract.
Well, hey, Shake Money. I said this earlier when Tyler was on. I'll say it now that you're here. They wanted to give Tannehill 7 years. They think Rosen didn't get a fair shake, but they want to give this kid 9 games, and they don't want to give him literally the definition of a fair shake. But what's the one difference between all 3 of those guys? And it's not the fact that one of them's left-handed. All I'm gonna say is one is Samoan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the difference here. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole, but the other two are the shades of ghosts, and one's from Samoa, from Samoan heritage. So I mean, let's see what we got here. And I see these idiots. Oh, he's too small. He's the same size as Drew Brees, and he hasn't even started to bulk up yet, right?
Yep.
Are we serious right now?
And we have to be able to go through the roller coaster with Tua of struggling, learning to be a pro.
I don't think there's gonna be much. But that's the thing, though. I don't think there's gonna be much struggle with this.
Exactly.
Oh no, I know.
Same way.
I'm talking about learning how to win. In the end of going through that first playoff loss, stuff like that.
I can tell you 2 differences between Rosen and Tua.
We don't need to go down that route. We don't need to go down that. We don't need to do that. Leave my guy alone. Yeah. He is living his life on the West Coast. He is straight. Leave him alone. Let's stop talking about Josh, man. I'm real touchy when it comes to that now. So I'm just being straightforward with y'all. We don't need to talk about Josh no more.
I'm not knocking Josh. I'm just trying to tell you last year when they brought up Josh Rosen, he says, "Well, we're bringing him along and this and that." When they talked about Tua this year, he said, "Oh, he's definitely our starter." So there was more definitive with Tua than there was with Rosen.
Listen, when you go out and you claim you're a guy, you always supposed to. Josh was never their guy. First of all, let's be clear about that. Josh came as a result of he was available because Cliff Kingsbury got his guy in the draft. So he became available, but he was never their guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're supposed to rally behind your guy. I'm not mad at him for doing that. Let's just move on from, let's stop making the comparison.
And that's the thing. And here's the thing, ball game. What happened? That's why That's why they moved off him in Arizona, because he was Wilkes' guy, right? Wilkes is the one who wanted them to move up, right? Exactly. And then they changed, and Cliff Kingsbury wanted his guy. Here's the thing. Flores has got his guy. He just drafted his guy.
That was his guy.
It's not a situation where we're changing the whole coaching staff and this person wants their guy. No, Flores and Greer, they drafted their guy. And they seem like the last people. I just went over how much they value draft capital not long ago in terms of they only started making moves on day 3 when it was cost effective. They weren't willing to mortgage to even move up to get, the 49ers off Kinlaw so we could get Wirfs or whatever the case may be. They weren't willing to mortgage. You think that same mentality is all of a sudden going to throw everything by the wayside and throw everything at one player?
Nope.
No, follow the pattern.
Hey, can I bring up a prime example? And this is history, and I don't want history to repeat itself. Marty Schottenheimer, coach of the San Diego Chargers, drafted Drew Brees, 2001. Drew Brees, for his first 3 years, struggled. They got off. They drafted Phillip Rivers in the first round. They traded for Phillip Rivers.
Don't forget, they also had Doug Flutie.
Yep. Yes.
Starting games in there.
Yeah.
He was taking snaps away from Drew Brees.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And they moved off Brees just a little bit early. When Brees came into his own, Phillip Rivers' rookie year, Brees had won the division and got him to the second round of the playoffs. But the thing is, Drew Brees moved on to the Saints to have ultimate success. Phillip Rivers did, but he went through his rookie struggles. That ultimately ended up to Marty Schottenheimer losing his job. Once you have your guy, that's your guy who you invested with, live or die. That's who you staking your claim to. Can't move off him so early, And I don't think Flo and Greer really gives a damn what the media says.
No, they
stick with their guy.
They do, because I was just gonna make a point with this dude, Deshaun Watson madness. Why did we? This is no shot at Josh Rosen. Why did we make the trade for Josh Rosen?
Oh, just threw the game away.
The media forced the Dolphins to trade a second-round pick for a guy that we knew was being overpriced for. So this is another example of this Deshaun Watson situation that does not make any sense at all. It doesn't help the Dolphins. It doesn't. There's a reason why Dwayne Wade is the king of Miami and Dan Marino isn't.
What did you see, Tannehill? What the hell?
Well, now these new age fans talking about Wade County. It's only.
He slipped down.
Who's the king of Miami? Who's the king of Miami? No. What you said?
It's Wade County. So you're thinking? I don't live in Miami. I've just been a Dolphins fan since I was 8, so I don't know.
Okay, all right.
So I just want to ask.
That's PI, man.
In the city of Miami,
that's pass interference.
Miami for what he's done for the city, or just as a Miami sports fan?
How's that not pass interference?
Both, Damien.
Well, damn, I didn't know that. I didn't
Go ahead,
he was more popular than Dan Marino.
He's more respected, of course.
Hey, you guys got to realize too, man. Pat Riley made the move for Shaq to help Dwayne Wade too.
Yeah,
hey, let me tell you something, and this is going to hurt a lot of Dolphins fans' feelings right now. When, not if. When Tua wins the Super Bowl, they're going to knock that statue down and replace it with Tua. You don't believe me?
They just put a Tua statue beside it.
Yeah, they put it on the side. You ain't never getting rid of Marino's statue, bro.
They're going to knock it down.
Nah, they'll put another one up on the other side, but they ain't going to never get rid of that.
They're going to knock it down.
Marino kept us relevant without winning the Super Bowl, like movie roles and everything. Ace Ventura, Marino, isotonic commercials. Marino kept us relevant.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you firsthand. They knocked that statue down. I'm done.
I'm not rebutting that. I'm not saying what Marino done for the city. I'm not rebutting what Marino done for this organization. Nobody is saying that. I'm just saying with this generation, they respect chips. They respect it. If you ask a kid, who is your favorite, not a kid, between 30 and 50, who is your favorite sports athlete in the city of Miami? Even if you ask Dolphin fans, they're going to say Dwayne Wade. They're going to at least 75, 65%. Period.
Hey, boss man.
Period.
You can't argue the fact. Hey, boss man. Hey, you can't argue the fact that Pat Riley made the move for Shaq to help Dwayne Wade either.
Nobody's rebutting that. Nobody. You're right, boss. And that's another person that people will put above Dan Marino, low key, is Pat. So matter of fact, I was wrong.
All I'm saying, look, is our general manager and our front office that we have now is a new front office. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. But you can't argue the fact now that Baltimore's kicking the ass out of the Tennessee Titans, and Baltimore has Ozzie Newsome, who doesn't have a fear in his heart whatsoever, with the quarterback they just got in the draft.
That's a fact.
Ozzie retired. His last draft pick was Jackson. Yeah. I mean, Miami sports. You're forgetting about all those dominant teams with the U, Jerome Brown, Warren Sapp. Those are all legends. Howard Schellenberger, the
Baltimore
first coach.
taking our players.
You know, it's just that
why is Baltimore taking our players?
We mean taking
I'm just saying, why is Baltimore taking our players? Because we don't have a GM that has the balls to make a move.
You mean we make our GMs make bad decisions? They made a ballsy move. Remember when they moved up to get Deion Jordan? That took nuts. It was a terrible move, but that took nuts. That took balls to make that horrible decision. The draft team get it. The 7th pick took balls. It was a horrible decision. You know, we just make bad decisions. It's like a lot of teams suffer from that. Cleveland suffered through that over the years.
OG, can I ask you like a question to that? Like when you look at it today, was it really a bad decision? Like
which one? Deion Jordan?
No. Oh, yeah, I'm talking about Ted Ginn. Don't get me crucified.
Yeah, because only thing he was a bona fide kick returner. Just like
you had to listen.
All he had was speed.
That's all he had. He couldn't run routes.
Listen. Hold on a sec. Listen. Okay, let me just tell you this story, okay, J Love? All right. I was working at the time, and I was at a job, all right? I was literally on the job site back when flip phones were a thing, okay? Back when ESPN had come out with their app, and they had just started doing, like, updated draft picks. It had just started on mobile. Yeah. And I was sitting there. I was watching all these picks come in. And I remember the championship game, but you could hear me for a mile when I said, who the fuck is Ted Ginn when that pick came in, okay? Like, the workers with me, everyone stopped and looked over at me, bro. Listen, I know he didn't work out in Cleveland, and I know Ted Ginn's still in the league or whatever. We were in a position where you had to take Brady Quinn. You had to take the shot. There was a very weak draft to begin with, right? Pretty much it was a weak draft from top to bottom. And we were so quarterback needy that, there was no excuse not to take. And when that motherfucker walked up on that podium and said, we didn't just get Ted Ginn Jr., we got the Ginn family.
And they got all that money.
This guy for real?
Fuck, we could have taken Antonio Holmes if we didn't take any receiver.
Unbelievable. Dude, the guy's biggest highlight was national championship, a kick return.
That's it.
And you're taking him top 10? What are you on, bro? Listen,
that was the worst.
I know Brady Quinn didn't work out in Cleveland, right? I'm not going to sit here and play hypothetical and crystal ball and say he could have worked out here or he wouldn't have. But we were in a position where his he was good. I know Damien watched him. He was good enough at the collegiate level where you take that shot, man.
You had to. Everybody,
you get him in the house and you go and you see what you got. Because you know what it does? First of all, like I said, it was a weak draft. If anyone goes back and remembers that draft, it was a weak draft to begin with. But you know what it does? It shows your team, your players, the organization, and your fans that, we're all in on finding the successor. And when people took Ted Ginn, that's why a lot of people don't have draft hope with the Dolphins.
And
moments like that crap.
We went 1-15 that year too. Thank you, Cam.
Buddy, it was karma, bro.
And you know what? Some more ballsy picks. 2000. Jamar Fletcher over who? Drew Brees. It happened again. Yeah, we made a lot of ballsy picks.
You know what's crazy?
We had a lot of chances to get Drew Brees.
Yeah, we had a lot of chances.
Even with Ted Ginn, even that Ted Ginn team, we had enough weapons where Brady Quinn would have had a totally different developmental and growth path than Cleveland.
Because
Cleveland was a dumpster fire at that point.
Oh, God.
Like, remember what was that before or after? Remember I think it was the couple years later was the draft where they drafted Trent Richardson, then they traded back up and drafted Brandon Whedon.
They
like
got
what
double
were they doing, bro?
Trent
Like
Richardson, best year was his rookie year. He rushed for 900 yards.
Yeah.
After that,
what happened,
shit show.
bro? Uncle Slap, what's going on, bro? What do you think
What's
about the whole
up?
Watson thing, dude?
Man, I think it's something that we should take a look at. I mean, it raises eyebrows to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Seeing what can be. I feel like if we did, I mean, we have to look at it, and they are looking at it. You know what I'm saying? No matter what we say and what we want, I know Greer and Flores are looking at it.
They looking at it, but
sure.
they ain't. What they gonna want, man? Mm-mm.
I mean,
I'll do 2 second-round picks.
Hanford.
I think
if that was to happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would do something like a player-heavy one, like maybe something like
This is the rumored deal from Benjamin Albright a couple days ago when these rumors first surfaced, and Ben's pretty legit. So 3 first, 3 seconds in a player might start the conversation.
It's an all-pro quarterback. There's no way we can do that. We can't afford to do that.
And mortgage in the no sir.
Yeah, because that's
You
the
don't
3,
think-
the
you don't
18th,
think-
and next year. That's 2 drafts you're mortgaging.
Hey, you don't think X and Tua and a pick would do it?
No.
See, my problem is now we've got a huge
I
hole
love
in
them
our
both.
secondary. My problem is though now, yeah, we're swapping quarterback for quarterback, but now we got a massive hole in our
Yeah.
secondary.
But you
Noah's
gonna
not
give-
ready to step
You gonna
in.
give
and
up the
fill that
defensive
role.
player of the year and put Noah back there at 21 years old.
And that was our strength.
I mean,
like,
he was
that's
a
going to be the
first-round
strength.
pick.
I'm just saying the secondary is a strength to our defense, and the defense is going to be the strength to if we win a Super Bowl or not in this 3-year window. Because you got to think about Byron Jones's contract, right? You got 3 years left, right? So that's the thing.
Damn, Tannehill.
You don't think we would have? All right, being real. You don't think we would have been in the playoffs? You don't think we would have won 11 games with Deshaun Watson this year?
It doesn't even matter. We still not gonna beat none of these teams.
I'm just asking a question.
Okay, I'll give you. I think we would have. I think we would have made the playoffs, but I think we would have still been 1 and done.
Yeah.
I agree.
And now, if you look at this trade, they're telling you, here's the thing: we're in the COVID era, right? It's going down from 197 down to about 176, 177 million. So now you got to find a way for the next 2 years. He's 40 and then 43 million. Right, so you got to find a way to fit that in. So that takes free agency away. We cannot go out and get any legit tackles. Then you add in, we give up the 3rd, the 18th, and then we give up our 1st next year, and then we give up our 2 seconds this year and our 2nd next year. So that's 2 years of no 1st or no 2nd round blue chip talent added to the offensive line or the receiving core or the running back room. You basically gotta strike gold in the 3rd and beyond for the next 2 years. That's asking a hell of a lot, man. Like that is a ton of, because I go back to this. This is a move for
San Francisco.
That needs missing one piece. And they could give you Debo, Jimmy G, the 12th, the 1st next year, and 2 seconds. And they're still loaded. And they still got Brandon Ayuk and Kittle for him to throw to. And they're still good to go. They got Trent Williams on the offensive line. Like that's like, here you go. You want to talk about a team like in a similar position to us? The Washington football team. And they got Antonio Gibson, McLaurin, add Watson. They got a stellar defense. You could take Ioannidis out of their front. You could take Kerrigan out of their front. Or Sweat, and then package them with 2 firsts and 2 seconds, and then boom, all of a sudden,
Or the Colts give up their whole draft for the next 3 years.
Would you be mad if we did something like that? Would you be really upset at the move, or would you look at it like, all right, let's see what we can do?
Don't.
Let's see what we can do.
You gotta look. There's nothing you could do about it. So you're eventually gonna have to.
Yeah, no, I know, but obviously, I would be upset.
I think you want to know. Okay, if they do that, it's gonna. I'll tell you right now, it may not be tomorrow, but it'll cost them their job in 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be done.
Because you know what we're gonna turn into? What Houston? Listen, this is not you, Slap. This is like in general.
Yeah.
Remember 3 years ago when J.J. Watt was elite, when Clowney was still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when their defense was freaking good, like top 15, top 10 D. And you remember D-Hop was there when Fuller was healthy. The guy could put up 200 yards on you any given day. You know, they had Lamar Miller. He was, let's call him efficient. He was good there. Like, he was efficient, right? He wasn't lighting up the world, but he was efficient. And they still couldn't get to an AFC. You couldn't even sniff an AFC championship. Now we think he's going to come here with these weapons, and then we take away all that stuff. But yeah, we got the defense. All of a sudden, we're going to go to the AFC championship
in a tougher division.
Yeah,
tougher division.
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
It's like people are crazy, bro. Like that ain't gonna happen.
Back then,
Here's
back
my
then
thing.
Our,
You know
our
what? So,
division wasn't as tough as theirs, right?
well, it was
talking
because
about?
of the Patriots, right?
Back then,
Now
yeah,
we got
just had the
now we got to
Patriots.
deal.
The Patriots were the juggernaut of our division. Everybody else was trash. The Bills was trash. We were trash, and
So you,
now
so
who's
you
the
swap,
juggernaut?
the only thing that changed is you swap spots. The Bills are now the juggernaut of the Patriots. There's still one.
yeah,
There's
no,
still
but
one
what I'm
dude at the
saying,
top. Yeah, still.
And the Patriots are going to be.
Well, and
I was
here's
just
the, no, here's
comparing
the
the
thing.
divisions when they were in the divisions. They had Andrew Luck in their division.
Yeah, and the whole conference, the whole conference has changed now too, right? Because Brady left. You know, I used to get in arguments on the other platform about, you know, I used to hear, oh, quarterbacks can't, you know, don't value the quarterback position because they can't win on the second contract. And Reason used to come in with logic and reason and say, yeah, Ben Roethlisberger, Manning, they would have. Andrew Luck might even have had one if they weren't dealing with a 20-year dynasty that no other professional sports has really had to deal with. Since, like, you got to go back to like the 70s and 60s to find anything even remotely close to a 20-year dynasty, because even the Bulls were only a 10-year dynasty. They weren't a 20-year dynasty. They were a 10-year dynasty, right? They had to beat Portland. Once they beat Portland, it was a wrap.
And
right?
I still feel that the
and the
Patriots,
Cavs, they had to beat the Cavs.
I
and
still
then
feel
the
the Patriots are going to come back next year and make some moves this offseason, like juggernaut moves, and they're going to like haunt my dreams forever. Like,
well, this is my problem. This is where I was going with this. Listen, they added a 7th seed. Okay, Brady left. They added a 7th seed, and 10-6 wasn't good enough to get you in. Where, you know what? If Brady was around, 10-6, guess what? You'd be a top 4 seed because there was so much disparity in the standings because of what the Patriots are doing to teams. You know what I mean? Now there's no 14-2 team, 15-1 team, or team that's going 6 that you got to get into the mid-teens, and then you start worrying if they're going to go 16-0. You know what I mean? That doesn't work. That's not around anymore. You know, and Ballgame will tell you how many good teams did they beat in the season where that team was on a 3 or 4 game winning streak, killed the momentum, and those guys probably looked around in the room at themselves and like, damn, I thought we were good enough to win the Super Bowl, and the Patriots just came into our house and beat the shit out of us, and then that changed the course of their season. Just because that gets in their head mentally. Like, stuff like that happens, you know, but that ain't around anymore.
And also,
now there's so much balance in the AFC that, bro, you have to be balanced on both sides of the football. You can, like, a defensive sided team, like a top 5 defense with like a 20th to 25th ranked offense, or even a 15th to 20th ranked offense, ain't winning the AFC, man. You're probably gonna have to be, like, I would say you're gonna have to be at top 10 in one of them, and the other one you probably can't fall out of the top 12.
And also a rarity happened.
Reason, real quick. I'm sorry, my bad. You don't think we would have contended for the AFC title this year if we had Watson? You don't think we have three losses?
No, I still think
we would have won the Denver game, and he would have won the first Patriots game. You don't think that would have happened?
I don't know.
Maybe,
the Patriots
right?
game, we couldn't get separation worth a good goddamn. I mean,
Yeah,
look
but
at
Deshaun Watson is a lot faster than Tua. That's the only thing that, honestly, I thought that Tua was a little bit faster than what he's shown this year. And maybe it's the hip, and maybe it's the injury thing. He's shifty, but I thought he would be fast. It seemed like everybody was running him down. It seemed like I was like, if I was on the field, I would have been able to run him down.
The Denver game too. The Denver
on?
game was not on Tua. That was our offensive line. Watson would run for his life.
No, I'm talking about how shifty he was. Like, I thought he would have been a little shifty.
But here's the thing. But here's my thing. If you go back and watch, guys, we had 100 and whatever 80 or 90 pressure, 82 or 89 pressures or whatever the hell it was. I think people are forgetting how many sacks Tua avoided this year. Like he avoided more than a handful of sacks. You know what I mean? Like he did his own work. But the problem is you spent out by the end, even in that last game where we broke down that all 22. Remember that one sack ball game he had? He almost avoided the first guy. Problem was there was a second guy right there. That was the problem, man. Like, and here's the thing, dude. Like, we're giving him worse weapons than what he has in Houston and saying, so you're literally, he's not Lamar Jackson with his legs, especially since his injury.
Oh, no, of course.
You know what I mean? So that's my thing. Like, if you give me Lamar Jackson, okay, like we're going to be getting somewhere because the guy's just going to take off all the time. But, you know, the weapons, I mean, if I give you a healthy receiving core right now in the Miami Dolphins, or I give you the Houston, you know, Randall Cobb, Will Fuller, what's his face? Brandon Cooks, all healthy. Who are you going to take?
That's a better group than we have.
Who are you going to take, bro?
Johnson as the backup.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree fully. I'm just saying in the perfect world type of shit. You know.
Here's my thing: is everyone wants playoffs, but what the fuck good is the playoffs if you make it and you're not going to win?
Yeah,
it?
you get boat race the first round.
Well, like, all that means is, you know what that means? I'm going to be the Houston Texans who are picking in the early mid-20s year in, year out. So not only am I watching my team get knocked out every year, I'm not sniffing blue chip talent either unless someone falls drastically.
And you become the Tennessee Titans
but
right
we've
now.
been doing it the other way.
Knocked out by Baltimore.
Buddy, how many, dude, we just came off of through the Tannehill era was the definition of mediocrity of we were consistently between 7-9 and 9-7. That's exactly what we're going to be back to.
Marino era.
Well, we were always competing for a championship.
We didn't win it.
We were always in the hunt.
We didn't
win the
win.
AFC East or get knocked off by Buffalo
every year
in the AFC title game twice. Marino always kept us in hunt without a running game or defense. And also, we got to realize a rarity happened this year, guys. The NFC East was horrible. Guess what division profited off of that in the AFC? The AFC North. Why? They played the NFC East this year. That's why 3 teams from the AFC North is in the playoffs. We didn't. That's a rarity that happens. When a whole division is terrible and the other conference plays that division, they're going to profit from it. We're at 10-5 with a rookie quarterback that was coming off an injury that had to rehab instead of prepare for the season. We're the second youngest team in the NFL. A rarity happened. We got something to build
next year.
Yeah, we only have one player over 30, right?
Yeah, and that's Van Noy.
And Rhino, welcome in, bro. In case you haven't seen, bro, this was the report from Chris Mortensen. It just said sources say Watson could play hardball with the Texans about a trade. His new $156 million contract includes a no-trade clause, but informed speculation from a source is that he would consider the Miami Dolphins, in which Tua and additional competition goes to Houston. Why I've highlighted this, Rhino, is because that reeks of agent. And
it is his agent. It's
Callie girl Tyler, she was on earlier, and she confirmed that what's his face? Watson's been on vacation for the past week. So he hasn't even had this kind of contact.
The GM did 2 days ago. He said that he's on vacation. So
yeah, so there you go.
The thing is, this is all about the agent. The agent is trying to, I don't know, make some kind of leverage, like Todd was saying, using Miami for that leverage. My thing is real simple. We got rid of Minka because Minka was a problem. Does anyone really think we're going to bring in another problem? If the guy's trying to
agents,
I don't think
he's a problem, bro. I don't want him near my team. I don't want him near my team.
I don't think Deshaun Watson's a problem. I wouldn't.
He has no business deciding who's going to be the GM, the head coach. He can say his opinion, but that's it. He doesn't own the team. Okay, no player has that right unless their name is Rodgers or Marino or Breeze or someone like that. Okay, this is what blows my mind. Why would they let a guy like that into their team?
You don't think they will. You don't think that like a franchise player deserves the right not to decide who's the coach or anything like that, but deserves the right to
if you've got rings.
To say that he wants to leave.
Here's my issue.
If you got rings, bro. If you were Brady or Joe Montana,
this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
I'm not happy here,
you can have your opinion and you can express it. Keep it in team because we are a team. Leave it away from the public. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah,
Okay?
but what happens is that the team has too much control.
One at a time. One at a time.
He's
Slap
looking
go
for
and then
social
power hustle.
justice. He's looking for social justice props. That's all he's looking for. Okay, the enemy is not really a candidate. Everyone knows that. He's having troubles interviewing. Everyone knows this is no secret. Everyone in the NFL knows that the guy. Many people think he's not the guy in Kansas City. So why would I hire him?
Well,
It's not
here's the
because he's
thing, Rhino.
black.
Here's the thing, Rhino. What came out today, and this is actually kind of indicting of them, is so the Houston Texans. The report came out today from Adam Schefter. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, quote unquote, on they hired a third party to basically help them conduct the GM search. That third party company came back and suggested Pittsburgh Steelers Vice President Omar Khan. So they didn't even, not only did they not listen, take in whatever Deshaun had to say, but the problem is that they didn't listen to a company that they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to. And then people are raising their eyebrows because what's the correlation, right? It's another minority. That's why people are, kind of raising their eyebrows at it. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just saying, I agree with you, bro. The ink hasn't even dried. Here's my thing. The ink hasn't even dried on his contract.
5 months, maybe.
Rhino, you've been around. Was I not the one preaching in the offseason? This guy's not going to. He's crazy if he signs one. He ain't re-signing one. He re-ups. He wants out right away, bro. They fired Bill O'Brien. D-Hop got traded. You knew what you were getting into.
Exactly.
You re-upped, okay?
That's what I'm saying, Reason.
Hold on. You re-upped.
trouble.
The ink doesn't even dry. A little squeak comes out about you potentially being unhappy in Houston a couple days ago, and they all saw Dolphins media run with Watson. Yeah. And now, what was the play? The agent saw them running with it and said, let's keep running with it, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what I don't like about it, because they're using us as people are getting all excited about the possibility when they don't realize they're actually being used as a leverage piece.
Can I just say something here that let me get his name exactly. Ronnie made a great point. Okay. Why are we going to give up a playoff berth for a dynasty? I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I want to make it to the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, guys. But if we don't make it to the playoffs next year and we win a title the year after, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm happy.
We're just so impatient. We almost.
If we don't make it to the playoffs, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. We are impatient.
I'm sorry. Repeat that, please, Rhino. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
Someone in the comments said, "Why would we give up a dynasty just to make a playoff berth by making a move to get Watson?" Okay, we get this guy. No one questions his ability. For God's sakes, don't anyone ever get that confused. The guy's amazing. He's a talent. But what are we going to do to surround him and to continue the progress that we've made?
You just put handcuffs on yourself.
We don't have the receiving core that they have. We don't have it.
And we don't even
my whole thing, I wouldn't give up. I would only give up one draft pick. Honestly, I would to do it.
It would be one draft pick.
One. Yeah.
No, I'm saying one draft pick, X and Tua. You don't think they'll get it done?
Hell
no. Hell no.
See, here's the thing, Uncle Slap. You know why he's gonna want a king's ransom? Castro, think of this, bro. Listen, this guy's just got a new job. If his first move is to trade the franchise quarterback at 25, 26-year-old, he better come away with a king's ransom that they clear that to the point where they're mocking the team that they gave up so much for Deshaun Watson. Or, because here's the thing, if it doesn't work out and it's not understood that, he got the best of every world to win the trade in terms of capital back, that's going to be stuck to his career for the rest of his life. He's going to be remembered as the guy who traded a franchise quarterback for not enough, and he'll be out in 2 years max, and he'll never be looked at as a GM role again. And he's just an executive at New England. He'll never be an executive ever again. He'll be lucky if he's scouting Pee-wee.
Hey, this is a prime example.
Be Bill O'Brien again.
This is a prime example, guys. Remember back in the late 80s when Jimmy came to New York, Jimmy came to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It made the Hershey Walker deal. Now remember back in those days, the running back is the equivalent of what the quarterback is now as far as value, as far as how they value. And you saw what they got for Hershey Walker. That made the Cowboys and that broke Minnesota. Those type of moves, and that's what the equivalent of this move is. And they got a king's ransom for Hershey Walker.
I wouldn't do all that, but I would definitely evaluate it. I would definitely look at it.
I'm sure they're gonna do that, but at the end of the day,
it's your job. It just has to financially and makes and capital wise make it has to make like it has to. I'm telling you, they need to win this trade for them to even do it
by a mile.
Yeah. Like everyone needs to look at Houston at the end of it and be like, "That's all you got." Like that's what it would need to take. Because I'm telling you, they value that too much.
That's too much pressure on the Dolphins. We will have to go to the AFC title game the next year
for that
trade to work.
You're Greer. You're Flo.
I don't think
you have this franchise quarterback. You're making all the right moves. You have 2 or 3 years left, and you're going to bring Watson in and put the microwave on you? No. It doesn't make any sense to me at all.
None
because Rhino, the same way Castiero is going to be tied to the trade. Greer and Torres are going to be tied to the trade.
More so.
This is their coaching and
because Tua's going to go to Houston if it happens. He's going to freaking ball out.
Because we're going to be who are we going to be? Look at my picture. Who are we going to be giving them if we give them the third and Tua? We're going to be giving them. They're going to put Panay on the other side of Laramie Tunsil, and then they're going to have Tua behind that, and they're going to say, "All right," and then we're going to give them more picks where at 18 or whatever or 36 they can start drafting receivers.
They'll take Najee Harris.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, there you go, and they'll take Najee, and Pyro will be. I'll have to talk Pyro down from a ledge.
Guys, who's better? Who's better, Watson or Tua and Sewell? Who's better?
We don't know.
That's what you're saying. No, you're right. You don't know. We're all making a guess.
We don't know. That's
what
reality,
bro. What would be your?
We don't know exactly what Tua is yet.
Can I say this? I'll say this. Listen. Let me say this. Out of all three of those players, and when you're talking about when they were coming out in the draft, and prospect wise. Watson from Clemson, Tua from Bama, Sewell. I'll keep saying it. Sewell's the only one where if you put a gun to my head, I'm saying that he's going to get a gold jacket. If you had to make me put a lockdown on the three of those who gets a gold jacket, in terms of when they were coming out of the draft, I would have said Sewell. In terms of Watson. Now, Watson, here's the thing. Is Watson going to get a jacket, or is he always going to be a 9-7, 10-6 guy who only ever sees the second round, the divisional round?
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, there you go. Matthew Stafford doesn't get the playoff. You're making, but Matthew Stafford's got 5,000-yard seasons under his belt.
Say more like Philip Rivers.
On Matthew Stafford's name. He's got fucking the bum-ass Lions over there. Stop playing.
Matthew Stafford's career was padded by Megatron. Now let's be honest. You can put Watson in the same category as Rivers as far as getting to the playoffs or maybe making a deep run. And Watson hasn't made that deep run yet.
If you take a look at every team that's in the playoffs right now, they all have very common things about them. Especially offensively, they all have an alpha at wide receiver. They have a above average quarterback, and they all have an offense that is diverse and open, right? That fits, and they have balance. Yes, they all can run the ball too. So out of those three things, what do we have right now currently?
None.
No, we got promise. We got
promise
at
quarterback. We got promise.
We don't have an alpha. We don't have an alpha at the we don't have an alpha at the wide receiver spot, and we don't have a running game that we can lean on.
Or a dominant offensive line.
So adding Deshaun Watson to this process does what?
Nothing.
Retards our growth.
So can we objectively look at it and just say, okay, it would be nice, but let's move on from it, because adding him don't change the dynamics for us. It doesn't.
Nope.
And then you got to give up something on the defense just to get him.
And you know what the thing is? You know what the thing is? Ball game. We got the sexy name. That's what matters to them. Paros, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and we can look at, let's say next year or the year after that, Tua, we don't know. Tua can be just as good, or if not better than Deshaun when you have these weapons. So why give up all these assets just for one player? It doesn't make sense.
Because I can use my starting quarterback in my free agent lineup, in my fantasy football lineup. That's why.
Well, can I ask everyone on
I
this?
just want to be the voice of.
No, I'm not talking to you, slapping. I'm not.
Yeah, I just want to be. I want to be the other side. You know what I'm saying? Even though
devil's advocate. Devil's advocate.
It's fair.
I got you.
I like Tua right now, and I like where we're at. I like that we could even have this conversation and look at it like, oh, we can stay with our stud, the guy that we have right now, and we can push through this and let him grow and develop. And I like the fact that we have enough picks that we can be like, yo, what do you think about Deshaun Watson? I like that fact that we put ourselves as a franchise in this situation because we never was in this situation ever.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, all of you guys, don't you enjoy the process this has been of this rebuild and this tear down and rebuild? Because we're able to have these kind of conversations and go live, and Watson wants to come here because we've been built. People are seeing every brick is being meticulously put in place. That's why I don't think they're just gonna go off script. Like we can talk about this draft capital because the rebuild has been properly executed. And all of a sudden to halt the beautiful thing that we're seeing. Here's the thing. People don't realize that when you plant the seed, you got to water it. You got to give it some sunshine. You got to wait. You got to give it some TLC, some nourishment, and then it'll blossom. People want to take the seed out of the dirt, throw it in the garbage, go down the street to the local florist and just grab a fully grown plant and put it on the windowsill without seeing the potential of what's going to blossom out of that seed. And that's what I don't get, because what they're building here is beautiful. And what they're doing here is, you know how many players in this rebuild on just draft capital alone will be able, and blue chip players, we could be able to fit in on that 40 to 43 million Watson's going to cost. And we could have those players be a part of this team for 5 years and beyond. I'm just sitting here and saying, like Tua also brings financial relief.
Yeah,
those draft picks also bring financial relief. You're getting top tier talent for minimal money. That's what I'm sitting here saying. We're gonna give we're gonna give everything for Houston. Say, hey, you go build something that could win the Super Bowl. Thanks for Deshaun. We'll see if he can take us to the Super Bowl in Byron Jones's remaining 3-year window on his contract. And then after that, I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll see. All I know is we got no monogamy.
That's what I'm saying. Though, also, we got to hit on these picks, man, because I didn't like the Noah pick at all.
That's the only one that didn't pick. That's the only one that, based on productivity from last season, didn't pan out. But again, cornerbacks. Historically, it takes cornerbacks 2 or 3 years to essentially get acclimated. And when you take a guy like Iguodala, who only played, hold on, he only played cornerback for 2 seasons in his entire life. In college, he played for 2 seasons. He was a receiver, so he got converted over to corner, and then they drafted him. So they drafted him on potential alone. It's going to take him a while.
And they did that ball game? They did that because they realized we've got 3 years between X and Byron to get him right. He's the plan for when they move on from Byron and X.
Right,
and that's in 3. That's why they took him, because his athleticism, his ceiling is very, very high. And they're like, we believe we're going to be here long enough to grow and develop him. And we believe that when we properly grow and develop him, I think they're going to use him in multiple positions.
Right. And Weaver.
Weaver, yeah. But they got good value on Weaver where they drafted him.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, sure
so
did.
That's why you can't knock him for taking that.
I didn't like the pick initially because I knew the kid's background. But
do you still like the pick?
I do now, only because I know that this coaching staff can get him ready. And I'm okay with taking a guy where they took him if he's going to be the heir apparent at some point. And obviously he doesn't have to be rushed into that right now, which is fine because you have those two ungodly figures out there on the boundaries anyway. So yeah, I'm okay with it. Now I am. I wasn't initially because I felt like we could have got our safety.
Yeah, I feel like the only way I like that pick is if he pushes Needham next year and competes for that spot.
This is why why I like it.
They're keeping him on the boundary.
You know why? They are keeping him on the boundary. Like that's the idea. You know why I like that? You know why? See, another pick. Ball game was there. I called that pick before it happened. Right? I said the kid from Auburn, who none of us can pronounce the name of.
Yeah.
But you know why I knew that, Uncle Slap? It was because if you go to the Auburn Pro Day, I've talked about this on this channel before. If you go to the Auburn Pro Day, we needed a big time defensive tackle, right? And Derek Brown was sitting right there. We spent all of our time at the Auburn Pro Day with Noah Igbenogany, not with Derek Brown. And that's when I was like, oh, they see something in this kid they like.
I just felt like it was a little too high. Like,
you can watch the Van Jefferson tape against Florida. It's freaking too high. But you watch him against Alabama and LSU, and boy, he turned it on against those guys.
It wasn't worse than the Raiders and Arnett.
The problem is corner. Corner is like receiver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the first year, rarely you get you know what I mean? Like, look at CJ Henderson. How good did he start off for the Jags and he fell off a cliff? Right? Okuda, the Lions left him on an island all season and he got burned.
X wasn't good as a rookie. And I think I think the plan is
it was better than him.
I think the plan is for X to start moving to safety after next year and Iggy to be coming into that spot.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Uncle Slap. We actually got lucky with that X draft pick because that was a top 15 talent if he didn't have the injury, the knee injury.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Well, so that's why I think you saw better in first year than Noah because again, it goes back to what ball game said. Noah's very raw, right? Very raw.
He just hasn't logged the reps. And then Baylor, and over the way he was playing, that's all they played against was spread teams. So he was more acclimated to the covering, taking risks, all that type of stuff. Noah and SC, with the teams he played against. In 2 years, you're not gonna get that much, bro. Like real talk, you're not. It's not enough.
He was playing off of talent. He was playing off.
Honestly, the only position that I don't want our Chris Greer or anybody fucking drafting is defensive end. Honestly, because I feel like they don't know how to drive defensive ends, man.
We got two good ones right now.
But we didn't draft them. We didn't draft them. We signed them.
No. Actually, if you think about it, and our 3-4,
Wilkins and
Raekwon Davis are our ends.
They're not defensive ends.
They are too in a 3-4.
Yeah, 3-4. But they weren't. I mean, we were 4-3 when we got Wilkins, right?
That was we had just converted. You hadn't seen the team out on the field yet. Yeah, you hadn't seen the team. But that was Flores' first round draft pick, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he's right. Okay, because technically in 3-4, right? What you would consider your normal edge, that's our outside linebackers, right? We don't have edges. We have outside linebackers and ends, right? Like so Christian Wilkins is a right end. I know they used what's his face Raekwon at the zero tech as like a defensive tackle, but I've said you find that zero tech in run situations and you can kick him to left end, and you're flanking like Tyler Shelvin with Raekwon and Wilkins, and then on pass situations
he can flex back inside.
Yeah, you flex it back inside, and you put like Strobridge or whoever at that end, right? But you're right. Like even look at Shaq Lawson. They used Shaq Lawson as that end, that left end at times too, right? So and they used Ogba as an end as well, but they also stood them up like outside linebackers as well, right? So it's like that's why I don't want Gregory Rousseau. Like, if you want to talk about the edge we should take at the first round for taking one, I've been saying it for months. Yeah, Joseph Osai from Texas. He is the ideal stand up or can get or he can move inside. Y'all know I love Boogie. Y'all know I love Boogie Basham, Carlos Basham. Y'all know I love me some Patrick Jones. I think he could do the same thing from Pitt.
That's my cousin.
You know what I mean? So there's guys, but here's my thing. There is no Myles Garrett, Bosa. There's no transcendent edge player in this draft at all. And Russo, Russo is very, very raw. Like, I actually, based on value and the fact that I could get Quincy Roche in like the second or third, I like that value better than where I'd have to draft Gregory Russo.
Yeah, somebody gonna reach on him for sure.
What do you think? What did you say about J Love? Because you're a U fan.
Super raw.
Yeah, and that's a U fan.
Yeah, and he let those 9 games go to his head last year, so he was
Yeah.
able to sit out. And you know what happened when he sat out? Karma. Because now Jalen Phillips
is a
beast. Jumped him on the mock draft.
Buddy, he would be perfect for this defense. I would take Jalen Phillips in this defense. Yeah.
It is what it is.
And I love how he spells Jalen. It's one of the most like unique.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. I know he had a down year. I know y'all talking edges and whatnot, but I still like Moses, man, because I've seen enough of what he can do in all his time there to be willing to take a chance on him, though. Yeah.
Does he start?
Well, you know one thing about Gregory?
Who?
Greg. I went to school with him, right?
With who? Who'd you go to school
Gregory
with?
Russo.
Okay.
So he didn't start as a defensive end. He played a receiver in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And he grew to become a defensive end.
Because of his length, because of his body size?
Yeah, because of his size. But what I can tell you is, like, the growth he's good at, like, overcoming things. And if someone's doubting him, he's going to overcome that.
Well, I mean, they at this point, they all supposed to have some level of I'm gonna go show and prove about him. Otherwise, you wouldn't want to draft them anyway. The thing is that when we're looking at prototypical, when you're looking at guys that can take what they're doing in college and go immediately do that in the NFL, that doesn't jump off the screen to me for him, right? Like you got like Patrick Jones and Basham; those guys consistently give you output, right? Russo might have a good game and then he's gone for 2 games and then come back and give you another one, but those other guys consistently. Week in and week out, they go on with their lunch pail and they giving you that production. So that's the difference. And you know, his athleticism screams to the type of screams that there's possibilities there. But at this level, you're not drafting off of possibilities. You're drafting off of productivity, and they need that, especially if you're gonna go with a guy that you're gonna try to plug him in and be one of your starting right ends. Like
perfect example. Going piggyback off ball game said. Like I said, I'm a Hurricanes fan. He destroyed Florida State. Probably one of the top 10 performances ever. A couple weeks later against FIU, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So here's what it is.
All right, guys. I want to get into some final thoughts here because I'm almost at the 3 hour and 35-minute mark. Well, 40-minute mark, actually.
Yeah, I've been going at it, man.
Yeah, I know, eh? J Love, let's hear your final thoughts, brother.
Listen, Tua. Stop hating on Tua. And for you fans that talk about, well, if he doesn't work out next year, listen, give him 2 years until everything is set the same way, because the Bills already gave us the blueprint. I'm stealing this from ball game. The Bills already gave us the blueprint. Until the offense is set, I don't want to hear no complaining. I don't want to hear no crabbing. At the end of the day, he earned the right to lead this franchise. Let Tua be great. I'm going to keep pushing this. Do not let the media punk you guys into the Deshaun Watson topic. The objective that we need to keep pushing. If you got money to fly to make billboard, if you got money to fly a banner over Hard Rock Stadium, it's Panay Sewell. I'm serious because that's what's happening. Panay Sewell. I'm gonna root for Ohio State. I hope Justin Fields go for 500 yards.
Hell yeah.
Because that will solidify that we get Panay Sewell. When we, not if, because I'm speaking positivity into the universe. When we get Panay Sewell,
what's up, man?
Everything will be on cruise control. I don't think the Dolphins will do the right thing at 18. I know they're gonna do something stupid. It's in their nature. They did it last year. They did
do it last year.
Yeah.
They're going to take Caleb Farley at 2.
I'm done if they do that.
They might.
Buddy, I'm laughing.
Nah, they won't.
Panay Sewell. I'm going to keep saying this every day. Panay Sewell. That's the objective. Do not get tricked. Everything after Panay is a drop-off. People keep saying, well, we can settle with Alex Leatherwood. that's similar to last year. And I don't even know if he fits our system. So I'm going to let Reason cuss you guys out on that topic. So that's it for me, man.
Powerhouse, let's hear your final thoughts, buddy.
Nah, I agree with J Lo. Tua's not going anywhere. We need to stop that notion, and yeah, just keep our picks. And once we get weapons around this guy, the fan base is gonna change. I mean, I don't know for sure, but the majority of them is gonna change and say, "Oh, I've always rooted for Tua. I knew he was gonna be this guy and this and that." But we all know what the truth is, and yeah, like you said. Hopefully we land Panay at number 3 and get him some weapons. And yeah, fins up.
The man with Trey Sermon in his avatar. Rhino, what's good, homie?
My man.
I'd like everyone to have a conversation with their mid-season 2019 Dolphins fan. If you were able to tell that person that we have Tua Tagovailoa as our quarterback, the number 3 pick, and all the picks from the Texans, okay? And we're talking about bringing Watson in, I think that fan would tell you to shut the hell up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is the plan. Flo and Greer have a plan, and I would be shocked if they move off of it. It'd have to be a hell of a deal. A year or two from now, we're all going to look back at this and laugh our asses off because Tua's going to make all of us geniuses.
I'm laughing my ass off right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Uncle Slap, let's hear your final thoughts, buddy.
Yeah, man, I'm just happy. I just want us to continue to grow on in the draft. Go. Our first 4 picks should be straight offense, and then invest our later rounds to defense, and then let's see what this kid got next year. I'm happy. I want him to be our quarterback long term. I don't got a jersey for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah. But I do want us to be open as a fan base and open to everything because until Flo does something crazy to me, he's the man. So whatever he wants to do, I'm with it.
Mm-hmm. Ball game, you got final thoughts, buddy?
I just think it's interesting. I always look at the bigger picture. You know, the hottest team smoking right now outside of the playoffs. Right there at the doorway, and just didn't get in of our own, you know what I'm saying, self-doing, is the team that now has the biggest media buzz around them. And we were the team that nobody wanted to touch a season ago. So
exactly.
I see what's happening. I'm not buying into it, and I hope a lot of other people don't. You know what I'm saying? We need to stay the course, continue the process, and that we've already put in place, and just rally around this kid because he is going to be exactly everything that we want and need him to be, and then everything else take care of itself. I don't get off into all that other stuff, man, because at the end of the day, these people have all these ulterior motives and stuff, and they don't necessarily fit into what I think is best long term for this team. We've been outside for a long time, and now that we finally on the porch, getting ready to walk in the house, everybody and their mama want to come join the party. But where were you when we needed you the most before? So we gonna do it our way. And everybody ain't invited to dinner, so it is what it is.
Because you know why? Tell them one more time, ball game. We were the only ones that we stick to the grocery list.
The grocery list, baby.
So don't come around when that sweet potato pie aroma be going out the window, man.
You better cook your own mac and cheese and your own greens.
Damien, let's hear your final thoughts, buddy.
Yo, man, my fiance just finalized it for me. She was like, why do they all want to get rid of Tua? I think he's pretty good. And she's a Redskin fan, and she barely ever watches a Dolphin game.
There you
go.
go.
I mean, that's facts right there. And also, ball out Justin Fields to put the pressure on the Jets. And ball out Trey Sermon, outperform Najee. Get him, Dolphins, in the 4th round. Get my man Trey
Damien,
Sermon.
You're going to be here tomorrow night with me, right?
I'm here.
Yo, all you guys up here, I'll be doing the game tomorrow night. Like, we'll all be watching it, and we'll just be sitting up here live talking. So y'all are all welcome to whatever. So, all right, Pyro, let's hear what you got to say, bro.
Well, I didn't hear what Damien had to say. I just muted the whole tab. So whatever Damien had to say, I'm going to piggyback on it. and just say that obviously we can't just judge this guy off of 9
I'm looking
games.
at you, Pyro. I'm looking at you.
I ain't gonna lie, you scared me a little bit, Rhino, but you threw me off a little bit. But I always say, man, we can't just judge this guy off of 9 games. It hasn't been a really complete season, no off season. I mean, guys, you gave Tannehill 7 years. You're steady giving Rosen excuses. Why can't this guy get some excuses? It's ridiculous. This fan base at this point is a comedy. You know that quote from Joker. I just found out life is a comedy or something like that. You guys, it's a comedy at this point. You guys are hilarious.
But you know what people
And
are
I laugh
saying?
at you every day.
You know what people are saying, Pyro? People are actually saying we don't deserve Watson or Tua, that we don't deserve a quarterback at all because of how we're acting.
I honestly, I believe him. I'm with him. You're like Ball Game has said. We're literally building a dynasty here. We're building something here. I ain't gonna say dynasty yet, but we're building something here, and we're about to walk through the front door. We're about to get there. We're finally gonna get into the promised land, and you guys are really just you're honestly like the Canadians who burnt down the White House. I can't honestly. We built, we got the country formed and everything. Ain't no shots fired.
What do you mean built the country for us?
we built something here.
England
and,
built it, not us.
We built something here.
Canadians.
We built something here. And
read a book on the War of 1812. You son of a bitch.
You guys coming in with the torches and the pitchfork. And you
are we coming? Hold on. Are we coming for the White House or Frankenstein? Let me be clear here.
I'm just saying, you're building something little good in here, and then you're gonna come in with your pitchforks and torches.
The funny thing is, I know exactly what he meant.
No, yeah, you know what the funny thing is too is, yeah, it was really good. You know, we all went from colonies to having it. Then y'all put in slavery, and then here comes Canada having to bail y'all out with the Underground Railroad and say, you know what? They don't know how to treat you. Come on up here. We got your back. All right. So don't be talking about the White House, all right?
Oh, Canada.
Which was in Virginia, I believe, and wasn't even originally white. So don't even start with me on that.
Well, I have no comment.
Smart man.
All I gotta say, man, this fan base is crazy, man. That you really just gonna turn on this guy who showed promise in college. And
you just tried to turn on the show's host? Okay. Setting an example, huh, Pyro?
Well, you guys turned on Najee Harris, so I gotta gotta do a little kickback a little bit, you know.
Buddy, I drafted him for you yesterday, and you went right to bed.
I'm sorry.
Tell us you went to bed at least.
You guys. Never mind. We'll take this backstage, but we'll finish it backstage. But all I gotta say is that this fan base, man, we're clearly building something in there already. They just don't see it yet. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Right. Their definition of casual.
Yeah, I agree.
Martin, let's hear your final thoughts, buddy.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the opportunity, man. I came in a little late.
Yeah, no
worries. But definitely when it comes to this fan base, I just categorize it as embarrassingly impatient when it comes to, developing players and just seeing things through. At the first sign of something that may or may not catch on fire, everybody just jumps ship. And it's unfortunate. But also when it comes to Deshaun Watson, I'll say this: in 2016, when the Dolphins started 1-4, I was like, yes, we about to get Deshaun Watson in my mind. But Deshaun Watson coming out of Clemson is not the Deshaun Watson that's coming out of Houston. It's two completely different players right now, as far as from the neck up or from the shoulders up. And I don't want to risk Tua, because Tua, after this offseason, at his floor is going to be Teddy Bridgewater. But his ceiling within the next 5 years is Steve Young. That's what I see from Tua.
That's a good assessment.
I hope and pray that our fan base just calms down, remain calm in the eye of the storm, and allow Brian Flores and Chris Greer to keep doing what they've been doing. Get rid of all the players that cause the mischief. Bring in guys that listen, are coachable, and then get the job done. That's it.
This guy.
Ryan, this guy.
I love it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, bro. Good take, Martin. This guy, Ryan.
Very good take, man. Martin, you need to come back more often. Seriously,
beautiful take.
Rhino's a plug.
All right, guys. I'm going to be back tomorrow night. Until you started talking about international war, but yes. There you go. That's a good picture because that's what it is. That's the fan base right now with
just doing their business and they just putting the guns at them.
You already know what it is, man. So, guys, smash that like button. There's still 220 of you in the room. I know we peaked around 300 today. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. If you'd like to donate, obviously you can do the PayPal. We had the donations earlier. You can also do through Super Chat. Guys, if you want to become a Patreon, there's multiple different levels: $2, $5, $10, $15, $20. And shout out to every single one of our Patreons: Infinite Trauma, Rhino Sits, Fake Spike, Shake, Joe B, KL Day, Ramon Casillas, Seth, Slim Pickens, Big Time, Red Dino, Marino's Goat, Conflict, Keith Davis, your boy Trev, Josh Tranquilize, and of course the newest Jared, who's he shows love on Twitter as well, man. Shout out to you for joining the $5 level, man. Appreciate you. So guys, also patchvibes.com. Use code FREEPATCHFINS for a free Miami Dolphins Silver 25th anniversary patch with your order right now. Of course, you can grab official Finside the NFL merch, teespring.com/stores/Finside the NFL. And this is the year, 10% off with code FINSIDE. Get that Coach Flo knows that shirt is money, so go check that out. But I will be back tomorrow night with some of the faces you see up here, and I'll open it up to a few of you guys, and we'll be watching the national championship game, and we'll be keeping our eyes on Waddle, Devontae Smith, a few other players, and Najee for Pyro, Trey Sermon for the rest of us.
Oh yeah,
and Justin Fields for you Jets fans.
Hey, Josh Myers at center too, man.
Yeah, Josh Myers too at center because this will be his first real test of the season.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how Josh Myers holds up. But guys, we'll be back tomorrow night. Y'all already know what time it is. It's Fins Up all day, every day. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, guys.
King Tua.
Peace.